Danful offers unparalleled, curated, and bespoke tours across Africa for travelers seeking genuine cultural experiences, enriched with magnificent sights, sounds, and flavors found on the continent. Each trip is reliably curated to ensure visitors are gifted with an immersive and authentic adventure. Whether you find yourself strolling along the charming white sand beaches of Sierra Leone, feasting on the mouth-watering delicious foods in Senegal, observing or partaking in various aspects of the Isheshi traditional system Ifa native to Yoruba land, Nigeria, with Danful, you will rediscover a fulfilling sense of kinship to the true heart of the motherland, her communities. Our core values focus on integrity, quality, safety, and sustainability. We are uniquely committed to assisting with the advancement of African infrastructure and promoting African businesses, so both travelers and the communities they visit receive beneficial exchanges. At Danful, we understand the importance of connectivity, and we have created a model which provides bespoke experiences based on your passions or hobbies. With us, expect a long-lasting spiritual bond between you and your destinations. Live, love, Danful, Africa. To learn more, visit danful.africa.
Peace, family. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Uhuru. Let me turn this off real quick. It'll cut off on its own. Hope all is well. I hope all is well. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed your Thanksgiving week and went into the weekend, eating those leftovers. Oh, God dang. Hold on, y'all. Man, I'm breaking stuff. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm just trying to adjust my mic. And the whole thing just came apart. Hold on. Okay, gotta put that back in there like that. Okay, we good to go. We back, y'all. We back. Hold on. Okay, we back. Sorry about that. Yeah, I was just trying to adjust my mic, and then the whole unit situation just came out. Okay. There we go. All right, we back. Sorry about that. Hit the like button again. Please hit the like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. I will greatly appreciate it. Tours. We are rolling back to Cape Town. Well, actually, in a couple weeks, on the 20th, we leave for Sierra Leone for the we're going to Sierra Leone to start the there we go. That's now cut off. To start the citizenship process in Sierra Leone. So we head there on the 20th of this month. But also, too, I've added another tour. We're going to Cape Town. We're going to roll to Cape Town. We're going back to Cape Town. Just got back from Cape Town, actually. We went to Namibia, had fun in Namibia. Then we went to South Africa for the jazz festival. Well, not the jazz festival. We're going to South Africa in March for the jazz festival, but we just left Cape Town. We did Robben Island, did Clifton Beach, which you see right here. We couldn't do Tabletop Mountain because the wind. It was so windy that they had closed the mountain. But some of us hiked up Lion's Head Mountain. And what else did we do in Cape Town? Saw the penguins. Like, we had a good time in Cape Town. And I wanted to go back. So I'm like, let me bring a group. So the Jazz Festival is end of March. So the tour is going to be March 25th through April 2nd. Cape Town for the Jazz Festival. And also they have some cool trails to hike up. Cape Town is a beautiful city. I am somewhat biased to West Africa. I'll admit being biased. I still love Nigeria, still love Lagos. Nigeria is number one. I was going to say that now. Nigeria is number one. Still, Freetown still has Sierra Leone still has a special place in my heart, along with Senegal. But Cape Town's a vibe. Now you're not gonna get that culture like you will in Nigeria or um, Senegal or even Sierra Leone. But if you just want to go have fun in Africa, if you enjoy a beautiful skyline and a very diverse uh, community, Cape Town is beautiful. I got to Nigeria is number one. Nigeria's I just got back from Nigeria. Nigeria is number one. I love Nigeria. Love Sierra Leone, but I love Nigeria. Even with all the issues going on in Nigeria and in the north, hopefully that's contained in the north. Even if they have to build a big old wall, a big old fence, and just fence the north off, I'm all for it. But obviously the government, the federal government, they're having issues dealing with that. And that's another topic. We could talk on that topic another time, another day. But I mean, Nigeria still love Sierra Leone, but yeah, Nigeria is number one. I was in Lagos last week, actually. Yeah, last week I was in Lagos. Well, week before last, because technically Sunday's the start of the new week, and it just reaffirmed my love um for Nigeria. So yeah, Nigeria is number one, you guys. Nigeria is number one, but Cape Town is just a beautiful city. Um, Love Clifton Beach. I'll admit the water is kind of cold. They said the Arctic polar caps or Antarctic, whatever ones in the south, the polar caps melted, and that's why the water is cold. That's what they said. But it's just, I mean, you can't get this skyline. I mean, look at the skyline. You can't get that. Um, I don't think anywhere in Africa like that. Um, Now I will say river number two in Sierra Leone is river number two still my favorite. Still my favorite beach, river number two. But if you're into just beautiful women in bikinis, skyline, this beach right here. But we were having this conversation yesterday. Like West Africa doesn't really have a beach culture. Like people when they go to the beach in West Africa, they come like fitted, like they're going to the club. Like put your two-piece bikini on and get in the water. Don't be coming to the beach in no Jordans, in no jeans, like wearing jeans and Jordans to the beach. Nah, you come to the beach to get into the water. So that's what makes Clifton Beach cool, is because people are dressed to get into the water. They're not dressed as if they're going to the club when they go to the beach. That's why Clifton. Shout out to Darius. This is Darius's second trip rolling with me, second time rolling with me to Africa. So he came to Cape Town. And you ain't got to listen. You ain't got to go all the way in the water and swim. Nobody said you got to go all the way in the water and swim. You just walk into the water, get your toes wet, go about chest deep. The tide isn't that strong, and get in the water. Yeah, don't be coming to the beach. Don't be coming to the beach in Air Force Ones. And you have a right to wear what you want to the beach. Wear what you want to the beach. You have a right to wear what you want to the beach. But don't be coming to the beach in Jabos and Air Force Ones. Come to the beach in your two-piece bikinis, your Speedos, your swim trunks, and get in that water, or just lay out, sunbathe. But you can't do that in Air Force Ones and Jabot jeans. You can't do that. So there's definitely more of a beach culture, a black beach culture at that, when you're dealing with Cape Town versus the other places I've visited in Africa. Because even when I'm in Tanzania, when I'm at the beaches in Zanzibar, it's as far as the people getting in the water and enjoying the beach, it's white people. The locals, they're just there selling stuff. And this is the first time, because the first time I went to Cape Town was in 2012. 2012 was the first time I went to Cape Town. So I vaguely remember it. But this is the first time where you saw black folks like in beach attire on the beach getting into the water. Man, AJ, they be in there with Jordans, Air Force Ones, full jean fit, starter jacket. Like I said, they go to the beach like they're going to the club. I'm telling you. You go to the beach like Darius. Put your swim trunks on and get in the water, no matter how cold it is. But yeah, so we're going to Cape Town March 25th through April 2nd. Again, we're going to Cape Town March 25th through April 2nd. Then we're going to Senegal, and that's for the Cape Town Jazz Festival. Then we're going to Senegal for the Jazz Festival. That's that's May 9th to the 18th. Then Nigeria for the Oshun Festival. That's August 9th to the 18th. Then Zanzibar. I'm going to more than likely add Mombasa. I'm thinking about adding Mombasa to Zanzibar. But then we also have, we're doing Accra and Abidjan. So Ghana and Ivory Coast. That's going to be November 8th to November 19th. So that's what's on the schedule. That's what's slated. That's what's going on. So let's jump into today's topic. I want to play this interview, and we've had these conversations on, why at the end of colonialism, why have other countries that have been that were colonized, whether it be China, Japan, Singapore, why are other countries doing much better, even though they were colonized as well, than a lot of the African countries or black nations? And Prince Marcel gives his theory. And so I'm going to play it. Fair use. Guys, make sure you subscribe to the Truth Report as well. And then I'll give my opinion, because there's one factor that people aren't.
Hello.
Do you want to play with
Hold on.
me?
Sure.
Hold on, what are we doing? There's one factor that people aren't really mentioning that I'm gonna mention. A little controversial. Okay, okay, Screen. I need you to blow up. There we go.
Or you want me to help you with your groceries?
The first pain that black people must take is to acknowledge that as a collective, they are backward, they are underdeveloped. They need to have a real conversation that is painful about that. I told you I study societies all over the world. The turning point, the first turning point in the non-white world, because the whites, especially in the 19th and the 20th century, the whites were ahead of the rest in the world, development-wise. The rest were backward. The first group to raise themselves to the level of whites in terms of development, and this group became very proud, were the Japanese. And the Japanese did that.
And people will say, well, look at the Japanese, and 2 nuclear bombs were dropped on the country, and look how they were able to develop. What's the excuse of, a lot of these African nations?
Because there was an intellectual revolution within Japanese society, and it was led by a visionary elite, the Meiji Empire from 1868. They asked themselves the question, why is it that these white people are so powerful? They are so ahead of us. What is the difference between us and them? The Meiji Empire, they actually sent a delegation to go to the West, to go to America, to go to Europe, and say, go and study those people. What makes them to be ahead of us?
So, we all know with Chinese sent, their people here to America to figure out, to develop the skills and learn and actually go back to China and develop China, which they did. And then you also have Booker T. Washington. I've talked about this before. The the Tuskegee. It was either called the Tuskegee Initiative or the Tuskegee Method, in which he would invite students from Africa to come to Tuskegee and learn and go to school under the but they would have to go back and develop their country. So that's what he's referring to as well.
When that delegation came back, first thing said, we as Japanese must acknowledge that we are backward. That's the starting point. If you do not acknowledge that you are backward, you will never address your backwardness. That's number one. Number two, they said there is no difference between us as Japanese and white people. We are all human.
Right.
We have heads, we have brains.
So what's the difference?
The
Culture.
only difference
Is it a cultural
is
issue?
education. That's what the Japanese
Simple as
said.
that.
Simple. It's education. And the Japanese realize that it's not education in general. It's technical education, maths and science. So there was a deliberate investment by Japanese society that Japanese kids must study maths and science. And over time, Japan as a society, non-white, rose to the level of whites, to the extent that by the 70s and the 80s, Japan was the second largest economy in the world, having beaten the rest of Europe, by the way. It was America, number two was Japan.
And I remember I was living in New York at the time, and
Yeah.
everything was the Japanese
Exactly.
investors, and you're right.
China did the same.
Right.
They Deng Xiaoping.
I've been excited to receive this for a very long time. The book, The Ultimate Guide to Rebuilding a Civilization, is full of so
Had to do a soul searching. And he said, we are backward. So the starting point, acknowledge that you are backward. Two, education, maths and science, in order to catch up with the West. Look at China today. China was backward in the 70s. Today, China is the second largest economy in the world. Let me tell you, you say I predict stuff.
Yes, you do.
Just look, in the next 15 years, if you and I live for the next 15 years, China will be number one in the world. Just take all the, okay, go and read the book by Kishore Mabuban. Has China won? That's the title of the book.
We'll put it into the link in the show.
Has China won? By Kishore Mabuban. Kishore Mabuban
From where? is
from
Kishore?
Singapore.
Okay.
This is the guy who worked under Lee Kuan Yew. This guy is one of the best strategists living today. This fellow was personal friends with Henry Kissinger. They used to have a beer together. I mean, that's how serious this guy is. The guy studies the world as China won. If you read that book, you will realize all the indicators suggest that China has almost won. The Americans are sleeping. So, black people, if black people want to turn themselves around, firstly, and I say this boldly, they must acknowledge that they're backward. Secondly, they must wake up and adopt maths and science as their national priority. Black kids must study maths and science. Three, they must deal with SATU. The South African Democratic Teachers Union is a counter-revolutionary force destroying the education of the black child. You must do a Margaret Thatcher on SATU. We must clear them out of the way so that you don't gamble with the future of black children. Let me tell you, if you do what I'm telling you, over time, a period of 20 to 30 years, black people will be ahead of many other groups in the world. That's how others have done so. Go and study East Asia, you will see.
But you look at the American applications for business schools and law schools, primarily Asian. The Asians are outperforming in math, science, engineering. It's extraordinary how they've committed themselves to math and science. You're right.
Well. Don't go to America, and I'll come back to that. Look here in South Africa, who are the top performers? Do you know who are the top performers in math and science? It's Indians. It's Indians right here in South Africa. And the Indians are a minority. They don't worry about some nonsensical ideological stuff that people debate on a daily basis. You know what they do?
They study.
study. Yeah, they study. And what does that do? It lifts them above the rest. Black people are busy talking about Umkhonto weSizwe, a backward force. I mean, Umkhonto weSizwe, the EFF, these people are an embodiment of backwardness.
Yeah.
Everything that they're calling for, it's stuff that will drag black people to the Middle Ages. It's not something that will dig black people out of poverty. They are busy confusing people and say land this, land that. Let me tell you, in the US, by the way, white people in the US are the owners of the majority of land in the US. But white people in the US are not the richest. The richest people in the US are Asians.
Correct.
But they don't own land. Why and how? The Umkhonto weSizwe clowns and fools. They are busy singing songs and choruses about land. They don't understand.
That's
wealth.
not where the value is.
They don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I disagree with that.
By the way,
Land is where the value is at.
Mugabe once
Yes,
said, I mean, he
value
was
is at.
interviewed by Dalit Tambo, I remember. He says, no, your people don't want land. Go to Soweto and tell them and say, want land. In fact, the people of Soweto used to call us who come from the rural areas, Abantu Basema Plazim, the people from the farms. Because here is the thing. What is civilization? Civilization is the movement of people from rural areas to cities.
Urbanization.
It's all about urbanization. So, in fact, if you look at the biggest province in South Africa, the biggest province in South Africa in terms of population is Gauteng. Gauteng is the smallest province in South Africa in terms of land.
And the highest urbanization.
Julius Malema, for example, he ran away from Limpopo, where there is land, and went to Gauteng.
Inanda Club.
Exactly, to Gauteng.
Yeah.
He doesn't want land. He wants better life, city life. So we really have to start a real conversation, especially among blacks, an honest conversation. See, a guy like me, by the way, if I say what I'm saying, I know I'm going to be insulted and I don't care. I mean, they can insult me as much as they want. I don't care.
I know the feeling.
But here's the
Yeah.
thing, Rob. Society will move the day we look each other in the eye and tell each other the truth. And that's what I'm committed to.
All right, guys, make sure you subscribe to the Truth Report as well. Go ahead, Skywalker. Unmute yourself.
Hey, Dinus, can you hear me well?
Loud and clear. Loud and clear. Go ahead.
Oh, this is a splendid conversation. Right now, I'm actually in a battle with the school systems where I live for something similar. And are you familiar with Dr. Amos Wilson?
Of course.
Now, Dr. Amos Wilson, my background is in the law, and Dr. Amos Wilson, I read a few books by him, and he made it dawn on me. Do you know? Obviously, you know what the 13th Amendment is, right?
Yes.
So the 13th Amendment abolished, and I promise you, this is actually relevant. I promise you, this is the issue.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the 13th Amendment abolished slavery, and it abolished something called involuntary servitude, right?
Right.
Now, how many movies have you seen on slavery? I'm pretty sure you've seen plenty of movies on slavery, right?
Of course, they release one every year.
Exactly. But how many movies have you seen on involuntary servitude?
Now,
Not many, right?
None.
Exactly, right? And so, excuse me. And so really, essentially what those movies on slavery has done is kind of raised our awareness on slavery. So we can recognize slavery, but we really can't recognize involuntary servitude. And mind you, the 13th Amendment prohibits involuntary servitude. So that lets us know that whoever wrote the 13th Amendment knew that there was a such thing as involuntary servitude, right? Now, the essence of slavery is servitude. That's what Dr. Amos Wilson teaches us. The essence of slavery is servitude. But the fact that those two phrases, and mind you, in law, we're very precise in law. We don't put words in there that mean the same thing. If we put two separate terms in there, that mean that they mean separate things, right? Now, slavery is a conscious servitude. It's a servitude that one is aware of, one that sees unfolding right before their very eyes. Involuntary servitude, on the other hand, now first you got to understand what involuntary means in the law. In the law, involuntary means unconscious. It means that you're unaware of something. That's why involuntariness is one of the most it's one of the strongest defenses that you can use in law against an intentional crime. Now, mind you, an intentional crime is the most serious crime that you can commit. I mean, that you can commit in Anglo-Saxon American law, right? So involuntary means unconscious, unaware of, right? Therefore, involuntary servitude means a kind of servitude that one is in that they aren't even aware of, right? Now we got to ask our question, well, how do you turn somebody into an involuntary servant then? Because I can't put a gun to your head and say, hey, be my involuntary servant, because once I put the gun to your head, at that moment, you are conscious of the servitude, right? You with me, Dynas?
I'm with you.
Okay, so how do you create an involuntary servant? And let me make this caveat. I disagree with the speaker wholeheartedly, right? But I agree with him when he gets to talking about we need to be studying math, but I'm gonna get to that. So
take your time. I'm listening. Go ahead. Take your time.
Okay. So involuntary servitude is an unconscious kind of servitude. Now the question is, how do you impose involuntary servitude upon a people, right? The way that you do that is by controlling the education of those people from kindergarten to 12th grade. And really and beyond, like Amos Wilson teaches us, that black people are still serving white people. Literally, the power relationship between black people and white people hadn't changed at all, right? And as he teaches us as well, you can't consume your way into equality, right? And so what this has done is that even our intellects, and this is why I disagree with him on the math part a little bit, is because even our intellects, even when we get to college, right? Because we don't have the proper intentionality in our minds when we are learning these things, then we don't even know what to do with it. What we end up doing with all this gathering of, we got the best engineers in the world, black people do, right? But we're still serving white people with this education. Literally, we're helping them make the same bombs, the same guns, the same machines, the same biological weapons that they're going to use against us. And as Amos Wilson teaches us, that means we're out of our mind. And the reason that we're out of our mind is because even when we get to a higher education, we haven't developed the proper intentionality to learn these things. Now, what is intentionality? Intentionality is the purposes for which you learn something. And as Dr. Amos Wilson teaches us, the purpose of education is to solve the particular problems of one's community. And I don't give a care how smart you are, as Dr. Amos Wilson teaches us as well. If you can't solve the problems of your community, then you're still a dummy. And it's essentially what you're doing is solving the problems of another people's community. And so as a result of being educated with a Eurocentric curriculum from kindergarten on to 12th grade, the same power relationship between black people and white people is there. It hadn't changed at all. We're still serving white people. And as Dr. Amos Wilson teaches us, even back during slavery, you had black people who could build ships, who could make machines. A black man invented the cotton gin. I mean, but with all this intellect, we were still serving white people, and as we're doing right now. Now, like I said, right now I'm in a fight. Actually, the Association of Black Psychologists have joined in with me. I'm actually speaking at their conference coming up in January. What's going on right now is that most of the states in America, and actually a lot of the countries in Africa, but let's talk about America right now. They are violating the 13th Amendment, and they are also violating the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause, right? Because the Equal Protection Clause says that you cannot discriminate based upon race, right? And that's exactly what they're doing by providing that our kids have that black children are being taught with the Eurocentric curriculum. That what that does is it keeps the same power relationship. And what I mean by this is this, right? There's a famous case. Well, first, let me talk about Brown v. Board of Education. You're familiar with Brown v. Board of Education, right, Dynas?
Some vaguely.
Well, okay, so Brown v. Board of Education, the holding in Brown v. Board of Education, right?
Let me that integrated the schools, right?
Yeah, exactly. It integrated the schools, right? But let me tell you what the holding was in that case. And the holding just means what the declaration of that case was. That just means in law what the law that came from that case was, right? Now, in Brown v. Board of Education, the holding was separate but equal educational facilities is unconstitutional, right? I mean, that's easy to understand, right? That means that black people and white people are supposed to have the same educational facilities. Now, educational facilities is an objective term, right? That means a facility is something that you can touch, feel, you can walk into, right?
Right.
What the current school systems are doing in America, and probably what they're doing in Africa, even though Africa doesn't have a 14th Amendment, I'm just making this analogy. What the school systems are doing, they're trying to pretend that same educational facilities also means same educational content or same educational curriculum. And nothing can be more further from the truth, right? Education ain't the same thing as an educational facility, right? So essentially what the schools are doing, they've taken an illegitimate step from Brown v. Board of Education. And instead of just integrating the facilities, they've also integrated the education. And that has caused a great rift in our community. Essentially, the schools are still segregated then. The schools are producing conscious white people who are proud of their history and unconscious black people who know absolutely nothing about their history. You see? And so as a result, our children get to college with the same mind as a white person. You see? And that violates the 13th Amendment. Let me tell you how it violates the 13th Amendment. I've shown you how it violates the 14th Amendment, because the 14th Amendment says that you can't discriminate based upon race. The government cannot discriminate based upon race. Schools are government actors, and in those schools, they are teaching our children with a strictly Eurocentric curriculum and completely ignoring Afrocentric curriculum. And as Dr. Amos Wilson teaches us in the psychological development of the black child, he says that the current school curriculums are based upon the assumption that the black child is merely a white child that's painted black, right? Like, as if their psychology and physiology are the same. And that's not the truth, right? Standardization. Standard does not mean equality. Equality means fairness. It doesn't mean standard, right? And now let me tell you how this is a violation of the 13th Amendment, right? Now, in order to assert a violation of the 13th Amendment, you have to show compulsory labor akin to African slavery that produces the same like undesirable results, right? I know that was a lot of legalese, but let me say it one more time. In order to assert a violation of the 13th Amendment, you have to show compulsory labor that's akin to African slavery that produces the same like undesirable results, right? Now, there's a famous case, actually it's a Tennessee case, where an inmate tried to assert a 13th Amendment violation against the prisons, pretty much saying that the prisons were controlling every aspect of his life, when he woke up, when he went to sleep, what he could eat, what he couldn't eat. They were taking his fingerprints and all this and feeding them processed food and all of this stuff, right? And the court essentially kind of agreed with him. They was like, yeah, that's true, but you broke the law, right? And the caveat of the 13th Amendment is you can't practice slavery and you can't practice involuntary servitude unless you break the law, right? And so the court was like, yeah, you're right. That is the qualities of involuntary servitude, but you broke the law. So no, that's not right, right? Now let's apply this to the facts that I'm dealing with. Right now in schools, right? When you go to an average school building in America, I don't know how it is in Africa, it's a little different, but in America, the average aesthetic of a school building looks strikingly similar to a prison. Right. Right. So, exactly. And as a matter of fact, right, not only does it look strikingly similar to a prison, when you go to the building, oftentimes we got to get buzzed in. We can't walk down the hallways of our children. We can't just pop up and walk into the classrooms, right? And under the law, a school is considered something called a non-public forum, which is mean it's different than every other kind of building. A non-public forum is like a military base or a prison. And schools fall up under a non-public forum in American law, right? So that means that schools are actually equivalent to prisons, right? So that means that black children everywhere in the United States are being educated in a jail-like environment using a strictly Eurocentric curriculum, right? And that's even worse than prison. At least in prison, they're not being educated with a Eurocentric curriculum. If that's the case, we wouldn't have people like George Jackson, people like Malcolm X, right? So essentially what's going on is black people everywhere are involuntary servants. That means that they are in a state of servitude that they aren't even aware of. And that servitude is because from kindergarten to 12th grade, they have learned a strictly Eurocentric curriculum. And what that does is, let's go back to Brown v. Board of Education. Remember, the court was actually concerned in Brown v. Board of Education. They were concerned with the psychological effects that separate schools were having on black children. So if the court was concerned with the psychological effects that separate schools were having on black children, don't you think that they would also be concerned with the psychological effects that a strictly Eurocentric curriculum are having on black children? Essentially, what that does is it accomplishes the same aim. Separate schools. Black kids get to college or wherever else, and they put Eurocentric values and history above theirs. So right now, black women don't know why they want to put wigs on their head. They don't know why they want to buy white Eurocentric clothes. They don't know why they don't got a taste for African cuisines. It's because they haven't allowed to be free. They're not free yet. Freedom is not partial. Like freedom is separate. You can't have a freedom of body and not freedom of mind. You can have freedom of mind and not freedom of body. Freedom is something that is complete, right? You can't just have it half, right? So right now what's going on is, like, for instance, right? Did you know, I'm pretty sure you know this, there's a holiday called Juneteenth, right? And
correct. Hey, what, Skywalker, 1 second. Guys, hit the like button again. Please hit that like button if you have not, as you come to the channel with the like button. Also, is my super chat button working? Guys, hit the super chat. Go ahead, Skywalker.
Okay, so there's a holiday in America. I don't know if our African brothers are aware of it, but it's called Juneteenth, right?
Right.
And Juneteenth is a holiday that's celebrated because once the slaves were emancipated, well, once our ancestors, I hate to call them slaves, our enslaved human being ancestors were emancipated, the southern states in America were still holding on to the bodies of black people, right? Such that the army had to be sent down to force them to let go of the black people. Now, if you fast forward to today, something similar just happened. Trump actually had to send the army down to Memphis because black people are out of their minds. In other words, the state still has control of the black mind by educating them from kindergarten to 12th grade with European history and values such that they hate themselves. They know absolutely nothing about themselves, right? So when you see the violence that's unfolding in these communities, that is the root of it. The root of it is that they are in a state of involuntary servitude, as Dr. Amos Wilson has told us. And I was able to take Dr. Amos Wilson's theories and apply them to the law, right? And so when you look at matter of fact, it's funny you mentioned Japan, because Dr. Amos Wilson was fascinated with Japan. He used to always say that Japan they have no resources at all, right? Japan didn't have any natural resources, yet they were so strong that they were able to invade China, and they was able to literally invade America to the point that that America had to drop a bomb on them. And we're talking about an island the size of I don't know how small Japan is, but it's nowhere near the size of the United States or China, right? The reason why Japan is so successful is because they're controlling their education. It's not that they just know math and science. It's that they have the proper intentionality in their mind when they are learning math and science. So, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. There's a black inventor in Zimbabwe. I think his name is Maxwell something, right? And he's a perfect. I'm gonna give you two examples actually. Here's a perfect example of when black people use math and science with the proper intentionality in their mind. Meaning his community was suffering from a particular problem. They didn't have electricity and yada, 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 right? Well, he used his engineering prowess to create stuff that people don't even understand how he was able to do it. He made a TV you don't even got to plug into a wall. He made a car that drives forever, right? And people don't even understand how he was able to do that. That's because his intentionality when he was learning math and science was centered strictly towards solving black problems. And when we learn with the intent to solve black problems, we come up with completely unique ideas using the same numbers and equations that are universal in math, right? My second example, our ancestors invented math, alchemy, and all the great sciences, right? Well, guess what? Ask yourself, what was the intentionality? What was the purposes for our ancestors inventing these things? Well, the purposes were, if you look at Egypt and all these ancient civilizations, it seems as if, and I might be reaching here, but it seems as if their intent or their purposes for inventing these things was to build, right? To build temples to the gods and whatever else, right? Well, around 700 BC, somewhat, Europeans came into Africa to sit at the feet of our ancestors, and our ancestors made a grave mistake. They did not understand the intentionality for which these people wanted to learn from us. Maybe the first thing they should have did is like, okay, I'm gonna teach you, but first take me to where you're from. Let me see what your problems are. Then I'll teach you, right? But no, they didn't do that. They started to teach them and yada, yada, yada. And the white people went back and solved their unique problems using the same math and science that our ancestors was using. It's just that their problems was they didn't have any resources. So they used the same math and sciences based off their intentionality to destroy, right? So that's a perfect example of what the purpose that you are learning something is for. We need to have in our mind that when we are learning these things, that we are going to solve Black problems. If we don't have that intentionality in our mind, then we will find ourselves perpetuating a state of unconscious servitude. And that's what we see across the great diaspora. We see geniuses serving white people because they don't understand that they are in a state of servitude. If you go to college and in your mind, you're saying, I'm going to college to be rich. I'm going to college to get jobs. Essentially, what you're saying is I'm going to college to serve white people because white people only have the means to make you rich. But if you go to college and you say, I'm using all of this knowledge to solve and fix our community's problems, you're going to be brilliant. You're going to come up with different ways of looking at things. And I'm proof of this, Dynas. I went to law school within my mind saying that I'm going to use the law to serve Black people. And lo and behold, I was able to recognize a legal issue that every other Black lawyer hadn't even recognized. But if you understood the law properly, you could easily see that the 14th Amendment is being violated implicitly by using only a Eurocentric curriculum. Our Black children need an optional Afrocentric curriculum alongside the Eurocentric curriculum that they can opt into. Because that's the only way to be fair. If you're only using a Eurocentric curriculum, then you're discriminating based upon race. But if you got a Eurocentric curriculum and an Afrocentric curriculum, that the Black child can say, hey, look, I don't want to learn the Eurocentric curriculum. I want to learn the Afrocentric curriculum. Even the white child can say, look, I learned all about Eurocentric curriculum from my mom and dad. Let me learn about Afrocentric curriculum when I come to school, right? But they don't have that there. And the reason they don't got that there because they know the psychological effect of brainwashing Black children with a strictly Eurocentric curriculum. That's why the product that's produced from these schools are so different. You get and mind you, for some folks might say, well, Black people can start their own independent schools. No, it's not. If a white child doesn't have to go to a private school to leave that school conscious and proud of his history, because he can go to a private or public school and leave that school with all of the knowledge that he needs to advance the interests of his race, right? Therefore, a Black child doesn't need an independent school to advance the interests of his race, right? He should be able to go to a public school and leave that school with the same values and histories of his race that the white child leaves the school with. Are you with me, Dynas?
Yes, sir.
So what we're dealing with right now is a massive campaign that they've been getting away with for about 71 years since Brown v. Board of Education was passed, and no Black lawyer has caught it. No Black lawyer has caught that, right? Involuntary servitude. Black children haven't broken any laws to be in a jail-like environment, learning strictly Eurocentric curriculums. And if I ask a white person, do you think white people, and let me ask you, Dynas, do you think white people would tolerate their children being locked up in a jail-like environment, learning a strictly Afrocentric curriculum? Do you think that they would tolerate that?
No.
No, sir. No, sir. Right? But the problem is that our lawyers are going to law school. Our black lawyers are going to law school with the intentionality of getting rich. And so they are not being blessed with unique views and perspectives to look at the law. The same thing with our engineers, the same thing with our architects, the same thing with our doctors, brother. So that is the reason why we are still in a state of servitude.
Guys, links in the chat room. Links in the chat room. If you guys want to call in and after the conversation, please click on the link. I see people making comments in the chat. Click on that link, and you're more than welcome to call in and add to the conversation. Skywalker, do you think people like Amos Wilson and Claude Anderson wasted their time? I mean, they didn't, but you know, the Black America's refusal to really listen and implement, you know, their solutions. Do you think they wasted their time?
No, I don't think they wasted their time, Dynas, because if it wasn't for Amos Wilson, I wouldn't have caught this legal issue, right? Dr. Amos Wilson is immortal. Claude Anderson is, he is going to be immortal because somebody somewhere who learned economics with the proper intentionality in their mind are going to take the Claude Anderson's ideas and perpetuate them and broaden them, right? So, no, I don't think they wasted their time. They were just ahead of their time, right? That's what that is. Dr. Amos Wilson is the greatest intellect ever produced in the 20th century. Hands down. That man was a god. I don't think it's by chance that his name was Amos, which is very close to the name Amon, which is the highest god of our ancestors, right? That man, I truly believe that some higher power, the hidden one, which is what Amon stands for, was literally speaking through that man. That man has a level of intellect that is that's untouchable. That's why I keep giving him his credit. The only thing that I've done has been able, because he wasn't a lawyer. Perhaps if he was a lawyer, he would have been able to make those connections to see how the government is actually playing a role in this. But no, Amos Wilson and Dr. Claude Anderson, they did not waste their time, Dynas. They were ahead of their time.
Okay, guys, links in the chat room. Link is in the chat room. I'm going to add this. I think a lot of this, if you ask me, Skywalker, has to do with religion. Because if you look at China, you look at Japan they still practice their indigenous religion for the most part as the majority, and same thing with China. Meanwhile, Black people, we primarily practice the religion of foreign invaders.
Well, hey, Dynas, that's not the only thing we practice. Not only do we practice the religion of foreign invaders, we practice the language of foreign invaders. We practice the clothing of foreign invaders. We practice the food of foreign invaders, right? It's not just the religion. It's all of that is tied up into this education, right? Let me think about it. When our ancestors first came over here, like if we were truly free, then the schools would say, look, put African languages in schools, put African religions in schools, put African textile making in schools, put African pot making in schools. Everything African would have been returned back to the African American if we were truly free. Not just our freedom to move around. You're not free if your body can move around, but your mind cannot move around. If your mind is focused on the Eurocentric curriculum, but your body can move around free, brother, you're not free. You see? So it's not just the religion. The religion is a part of it, but it's also the language. It's the culture as a whole that has been taken from us, right? So and so all of that plays a role in it. So you're not wrong. Certainly, it's a religion, right? All of that goes back into serving the white man. If we're looking at a white Jesus, you're still serving the white man. You just don't realize it. It's an involuntary kind of servitude. And some people think indentured servitude. No, the 13th Amendment says nothing about indentured servitude. Indentured servitude is actually a conscious kind of servitude too. But it's a conscious kind of servitude that's only existing for a set amount of time, right? No, the 13th Amendment said involuntary servitude. That lets you know that the framers of that amendment were aware that involuntary servitude is a thing. You can actually make somebody a slave without them even knowing it. So our rights are being violated immensely, Dynas. Matter of fact, if you're in wherever you are, you need to be going to, I spoke at the school board where I'm at. All Black people need to be going to the school board and demanding an Afrocentric curriculum, because that is the problem. That's why we're stuck behind. It's because we're still learning about white people while everybody else is learning about themselves, Dynast.
Let me pass the mic to Shaka Zulu. Go ahead, Shaka Zulu. Mute yourself.
Yo, what's good, brother?
All is well, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm glad to see you back, man. You know what I'm saying? You've been gone for a minute, man. You know what I'm saying? Happy travels, yo.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, I'm saying, yo, this brother, I'm finally glad to hear somebody, you know what I'm saying, on this on the air giving props to Dr. Amos Wilson, man, because everybody overlooked Dr. Amos Wilson, man. You know what I'm saying? And I think he is one of the premier intellectual minds for the 20th century, man. You know what I'm saying? Everything this brother said was on point, man. And I've been saying this since I've been calling into your show. And I've been calling into to Brandon's show. It's all about intentionality, man. You know what I'm saying? If you have an intention to rule the world, then that's how you will educate your children how to rule the world. If you have an intention to go along, to get along, then that's the education you're gonna give your children. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what Dr. M. See, I don't think people understand, man. People, I think you probably might have to do a few shows where you review some of his topics or get some sound bites from some of the news he did. Because this man was a brilliant mind. He brought psychology to psychoanalysts, you know, psychoanalyzing the black mind, you know what I'm saying, or the Afrocentric mind according to the Eurocentric mind, you know what I'm saying? And everything his brother was talking about, you know what I'm saying, he's spot on, man. But it's gonna go over a lot of people's head because they don't understand that everything is about it's like this. You know what I'm saying? If I wake up in the morning and I have an intention to be great, then I'm gonna make sure every step that I make is to be great. You know what I'm saying? If I don't have that intention, then I'm not gonna go according to them steps, man. You know what I'm saying? We have to teach if we want our children, if we want the black race to take over this world, because maybe that might scare a lot of people. I mean, taking over this world don't mean you're gonna oppress somebody. You know what I'm saying? But you might have to set the world straight. But everybody else has that intentionality. The Chinese, the Asians, they teach their children how to you know what I'm saying? They teach their children that type of intentionality, how to run the world. You know what I'm saying? The Muslims doing that according to the Arabization Muslims, you know what I'm saying? The white man, he gotta pick up the pieces and say, okay, what has he lost? You know what I'm saying? And try to regain what he lost. But you can't keep indoctrinating black children according to the white man's educational system. You know what I'm saying? And like Dr. Amos Wilson said, and like everybody else says, how can you expect the oppressor to teach your children how to be revolutionary, man? It's impossible, man. But I mean, we're so far behind the curve that we just don't understand that, man. And that's the thing. That's the thing that I'm glad this brother is bringing to light. But you only got what 40 views. So I don't know if nobody's tuning in or if everybody's tuning out. But it's all about intentionality, man. Teach your children what you want to be, man. You know what I'm saying? If they want to go get a doctorate in baking cake, nah, that's not what the nation needs, man. The nation needs a certain amount of doctors. The nation needs a certain amount of engineers. The nation needs a certain amount of lawyers. The nation needs a certain amount of, you know what I'm saying, whatever, man. Everybody got to put their piece in, man, because we behind, man. You know what I'm saying? So if we want to build a nation, if we want to build a society where we are in control, where the black mind is putting forth the best of its ability, we have to dedicate our children into certain fields, man. You know what I'm saying? They can do other things, but you know what I'm saying? I need you to do this and I need you to do that, man. That's just the bottom line, man. And I'm glad that this brothers, you know what I'm saying, bringing everything to the forefront, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been trying to tell y'all this for a minute, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I respect Dr. Claude Anderson, man. You know what I'm saying? But y'all need to really be pushing Dr. Amos Wilson, man, because he had that shit on lock, man. He knew what we was talking. He knew what it was, because he came up under the same scholars as Dr. Ben and Dr. Claude, and I mean not Dr. Claude, I mean Dr. John Henry Clark and all them dudes, man. You know what I'm saying? But he brought the psychoanalytic perspective towards it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like the DNA, the DNA aspect, man. There's a DNA aspect, man. If you've been so indoctrinated for so many amount of years, then that's going to kind of be imprinted in your DNA. So you have to like reverse that psychology, man. And the man was a beautiful spirit, and he was a beautiful intellectual, man. You know, but I passed the mic.
Spot on, brother. Spot on. And actually in the psychological development of the black child, Dr. Amos Wilson shows us that, did you know, if you ever read that book, Dynas, and my brother, Mr. Zulu, I'm pretty sure you have, that he shows that within 2 hours of being born, a black child, within 2 hours, and I think the longest is 2 days, of being born, a black child can raise his head up, look himself in the mirror and smile, move his head around. And it takes a white child 4 to 6 months to be able to do that, right? And after all of these distinguishing factors that he points out in his book, he comes to the conclusion that actually the black child is born with an intellectual head start that's actually indicative of our ancestors being the creators of civilization. So we're born ready to learn, right? and over time, with the Eurocentric curriculum completely destroys all of that, right? So my brother's spot on. I think a lot of intellects in Africa. Matter of fact, I heard PLO Lumumba talk a lot about African American intellects, but I never hear him mention Amos Wilson. I wonder if he's ever read some Amos Wilson books. We need Amos Wilson to be translated into every French language so our Francophone brothers can know what to do, because he has so many books that are going to solve our problems. And I saw somebody in the comments said that Dr. Amos Wilson wasn't able to solve the problems of his race. Does that mean he's dumb too? No. They were just trolling, obviously. Dr. Amos Wilson did solve the problems of his race simply by me hearing him and able to apply his theories to the law. And so what needs to be occurring is black people everywhere, especially in the United States, need to be going to their schools and demanding an optional Afrocentric curriculum that black children can opt into that doesn't require them to take standardized tests, because all the standardized tests is another version of a voting rights test. And the Supreme Court has said that voting rights tests are unconstitutional. All the standardized test really is a test to make sure that black people are not being smart, are not becoming smarter than white folk. You see what I'm saying? So that, and like he mentioned, every other race's intentionality behind learning this math and science is centered towards solving their problems. And once our black children start to realize that I have to have a proper goal, right? My goal can't be going to go get some job with some white people. My goal in learning all of this needs to be so that I can solve the problems of my community. And so we need our children to be completely reprogrammed, because right now they're being programmed to solve white people's problems. And when you look around in America, every invention, every luxury that we enjoy right now is the result of a black person, likely, who had the intentionality to solve white people problems. And that's why America is such a great government now. I mean, great country now. Well, I ain't gonna say great, but like powerful country now, right? It's because black people's intentionality has been aimed at solving their oppressors' problems and not their own. And so we need to get this. I hope that more viewers come and view this, and I hope they take this message and spread it wherever they are. And mind you, Dynas, like I said, I will be speaking at the Association for Black Psychologists. They got a conference that I've been invited to come speak to, because they're in this fight with me as well. I reached out to them and let them know the issue, and they went haywire, right? They was like, oh, they got the scrambling. calling conferences and everything. So this is a real issue that's going on that all black people need to know about, because we see our children going to school every day, but I don't know if we've been able to really identify the problem. Like what's going on? What's wrong with us? And that's what's wrong with us. We're still in an unconscious, unaware state of servitude.
But let me give it to you even further, man. You know what I'm saying? The person that, because I'm not watching the comments, but the person that made that comment, you know what I'm saying? Dr. Amos Houston did solve the problem. The problem with black people is we're like hard-headed children, man. You know what I'm saying? We take telling like a donkey, man. You know what I'm saying? You can tell us the same thing over and over again, but somehow we just don't listen, man. And it seems like even in the book of Destruction of Black Civilization, the black man has been making the same mistake over and over for the last 5,000 years, man. You know what I'm saying? How many times you gonna tell black people what's supposed to be done, and they're not doing it, man? They do it for a little while, but they fall off, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Dr. Amos Wilson predicted everything that was gonna happen to us, man. Even before Claude Anderson. I mean, I think Claude Anderson was piggybacking off of what he was saying, man. Because after a while, you know, let me tell you, after a while, you don't need no more scholars, man. Everybody that came after with the Professor James Small, that's his name or whatever, or the Rashiko, what, all these other dudes, man, they just got fancy names or whatever, but they preaching the same doctrine, man. The same doctrine. The last of the grace was Dr. Amos Wilson, man. And he spawned, even Khalid Muhammad was walking around with that book, Blueprint to Black Power, man, praising that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? It was all about the last to the best of the scholars, man. And he was the last of the best of the scholars, man. You know what I'm saying? Because we had generational scholars from before Garvey up to Garvey, you know what I'm saying? And then we got the Elijah Muhammad did his thing. We had the dude, the guy that wrote the book, I'm forgetting his name, man. The Miseducation of Negro, you know what I'm saying? We had Booker T. Washington. We had a whole bunch of scholars that was like, yo, listen, man, yo, we just need to just start from scratch and just get our knowledge back together, man. You know what I'm saying? And it all culminated with Dr. Amos Wilson, man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that came after that,
Hey, you're breaking up, bro. You're breaking up.
Hey, Dynas, while my brother's getting his signal right, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, while my brother's getting his signal right, someone in the comments said that that involuntary servitude means with the threat of violence. No, I mean that can be what involuntary can be imposed on with threat of violence, but it can also be imposed with legal coercion. That's why you need to read the cases, brother. There's a case called U.S. v. Kaminsky where the court said that psychological coercion alone can't raise to the level of involuntary servitude, but psychological coercion along with legal coercion, or along with the threat of violence, or along with emotional abuse, can raise to involuntary servitude. So once again, and like I say, another problem with black people is that they just want to debate, right? Some of this information, it's not even debatable. A lot of this information is designed to rile you to action, not to impose more and more debate. A lot of information is just there so that you can go and do something about it, right? And I also saw in the comments someone say I need to calm down. I know. I'm sorry. I'm just so passionate about this issue that I tend to be a lot of talk riled up about it and sound very, very passionate about it. I'm sorry, but this is just not something I can be calm about. Matter of fact, you shouldn't be calm about it, right? Matter of fact, the very response that I get as a result of this information, it's indicative of involuntary servitude. For instance, there was a show called The Cleveland Show, right? It was like a spinoff of The Family Guy, right? And it was complete opposite of The Family Guy. And the kid on that show name was Roscoe. He was the opposite of Stewie, right? Stewie represented the white consciousness, which is why he always wanted to take the world over and kill people, right? And Roscoe represent the black consciousness. He was all about liberation and empowerment of black people, right? But there's an episode in The Cleveland Show when Roscoe, they were having like a Civil War play at the school that he went to. And he was dressed, and so he was on stage, and he saw these white children dressed in like these nice looking Civil War uniforms, and he had on like these rags. And he asked the teacher, he said, "Hey, why do I have to have on rags?" And the teacher said, "Because your ancestors were enslaved by white people." And don't you know that young man fainted? When he found out that his ancestors were enslaved, he fainted. That is the kind of reaction that you're actually supposed to have when somebody come and tell you, "Hey, bro, you're still a slave, man. You're just a mental slave." But because we've been so desensitized to what's going on here, or really because we're so unaware of what's going on here, and because we have so much European values and propaganda and all of these other political and social experiences of the white man in our mind, we can't even, as Dr. Amos Wilson say, we can't even respond correctly to our problems. As Dr. Amos Wilson teaches us, responsibility is one's ability to respond. If you can't even respond to your issues, then you've been put in a state of powerlessness. So black people are absolutely powerless to their issues because they don't even know what the hell's going on.
Go ahead, Shaka Zulu.
Yeah, listen, can I say something, man? Like when I like to talk, man, I like to take the word black people out of it, man. I'm gonna put all the onus on the black man, yeah. I think the black man need to pull up his balls, you know what I'm saying, grab his nuts and say, "Yo, listen, man, what is it I want, man?" You know what I'm saying? Do I want to continue to be dominated, or do I want to dominate? That's just the bottom line, man. It's like Dr. Amos Wilson had this famous lecture, man, where he was like, "Yo, the white man's like, oh, yeah, I enslaved you. Yeah, I'm gonna send your boys over to Afghanistan or the Persian Gulf. Yeah, I'm gonna have y'all killing each other in the street. What are you gonna do about it?" Exactly. What are you gonna do about it, man? You know what I'm saying? It's either he gonna be in that position or you gonna be in that position. Yo, two kings can't sit on the top of the hill, man. Two kings can't, like my father used to always say, man. You know what I'm saying? Two man crab can't be in one hole, man. You know what I'm saying? There's only gonna be one ruler and there's only gonna be one servant, man. And I'm not saying we got the rule to be like, you know what I'm saying, subjugate people, man. But we did rule at one time, man. So it's either we gonna take control of this world, because we see how this world is going, man. Ain't nobody really got no answers for this world, man. You know what I'm saying? And I want to, before you pass the mic, I want to go back to what the brother said. Listen, I would applaud black men and black women when they raise their children to be observant, man. Observe white people, man. Observe every other race of people, and you will see that they kind of like, I don't know, man. I don't know how to describe it, man, but they really don't have a knowledge of the earth. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that black people got so much knowledge of the earth, but it seems like we're more in tune with the frequency of the earth, you know what I'm saying, just off our nature, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know how to really like explain it, but all I'm trying to say is, man, if we wanna get back to where we got to be, or where we want to go, we're gonna have to have the proper intentionality. The black men gonna have to step up. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have to run their household, not with an iron fist, but we're gonna have to, like, you know what I'm saying, get all this killing under control. We're gonna have to get our neighborhoods under control. We're gonna have to run our own economy. We just, the simple things. Let's just do the simple things right, man. You know what I'm saying? We don't need no big educational system to overchange. No overall big change to the educational system. You know what I'm saying? somebody that went to school, you know what I'm saying, as an engineer, maybe on the weekends or whatever, you know what I'm saying, you take a few children or whatever and you teach them calculus. You teach them calculus too. You teach them differential equations, man. You teach them how to code, man. You know what I'm saying? Each one reach one, teach one, man. We don't need like a big thing like what Dr. Umar was trying to do, man. You know what I'm saying? If you know how to read and write, teach your children how to read and write. If you know how to do arithmetic, teach your children how to do arithmetic, man.
Precisely, brother.
If your children are more advanced than you, then have them teaching other children, and you can also learn from them. What did you learn in school today, son and daughter? You know what I'm saying? Oh, show me how to do that. You know what I'm saying? Yo, we gotta keep on learning, man. We gotta keep the knowledge flowing, man. But we just too lazy, man.
Can I add to what you just said, brother?
Well, no. Let me pass it to T. Let me pass it to T. Khalid first. Go ahead, T.
Okay, sorry.
Hey, Don, is this in reference to Japan's new female prime minister and her being like some ultra nationalist?
No.
Okay, my bad. I thought it was. Well, just the response was I was just listening to the conversation. Something just piqued my interest where I think one of the brothers was saying like a child found out there was still a slave and startled. And I'm sorry, I just think that victim mentality, it does make black men weak, in my opinion. I don't see any strength in black men seeing themselves as victims to another man. In fact, if you see how men deal with each other in general, men don't respect other men who act fearful around them, who act cowardly or who act weak. You actually look down on those men and keep them in that position. You don't elevate them. So when you got black men prostrating in front of white men saying, "Oh, you are victimizing me. Oh, it's because of you I can't do this." You know what? As a white man, I will not change for you. Like, ain't no man gonna step down. I think one of the brothers said it clearly. Ain't gonna be no two alphas up in this piece, man. Ain't no man gonna sit there and weaken himself for another man to propel above him. That's just not gonna happen. I think our men are very delusional in that thinking. It's keeping us very weak. I don't know if you saw that CNN episode where I think it was Scott Jennings. He was having a debate with a black man. And I can't remember what the debate was about. But then Scott Jennings said, "Come on, man, you gotta use a little IQ on this." And then another black man on the panel was like, "It is very racist of you to say use an IQ to another black man." He just acted like a whiny little baby. And it's just like, why do brothers find that to be so masculine and empowering that that's how black men should be around white men? Just every time they say something, we, act like kids, like we get into like a feeble position. We say, "You are hurting my feelings," instead of taking power or talking to a white man like how you talk to any other man. Like, sit up straight, like talk with some bass in your mouth, like stop whining, like negotiate. Like, look at Trump. He's got Ukraine and Russia negotiating. Trump met with Mom Donnie. Mom Donnie talked a lot of crap about Trump, remember? But then they go to the White House like two men and they negotiate. There's not a single man in our community that let me say in the Democrat, because our community unfortunately is more Democrat. I don't know one black Democrat politician who said, "You know what? We may disagree with Trump, but we need to extract some type of benefit tangible for our community. So we're going to we're going to actually negotiate with Trump to get something." But instead, they want to complain about white supremacy. So what the white man is doing is say, "Okay, your ass keep complaining while I'm going to keep ignoring you." And that's just what's happening to our community.
Can I respond to that, brother? I brought up that Cleveland show example. This was a kid. He was a child, right? He was on stage and they told him he didn't know that black people had been enslaved. The white person told him that, and when he came into that knowledge, it made him faint. So I don't know. You must have heard the last end of it or whatever. But I think black people should be advocating for Afrocentric curriculum in these schools because it's against the law for black children not to go to schools, right? a parent could get in trouble for truancy laws here. So if we're going to be legally compelled to go somewhere, then wherever we're going should be being fair to us, is what I'm saying. And I want to talk about what my brother Shaka Zulu said. He made a very profound point where, and I say this all the time, like one of the I guess reasons for school integration is one of those, like the people back during the civil rights movements. One of the justifications was, oh, we had bad books. Our books was raggedy. Man, look, I done went to law school, brother. Most of the books that I read were old and raggedy, but that knowledge that I got of those books was still brand new. So had we kept going with those raggedy books, we would be writing the textbooks right now, right? But the fact that our children are going to schools right now with brand new textbooks and everything, they're coming out of those schools just as stupid. But when schools were segregated and we would learn out of those old books, we produced some of the greatest inventors ever, right? And that's not to say we haven't produced any inventors, post integration, but most of the inventions that have came out, white people are. They've been to serve white people. The internet is in white people's hands now. Computer chips, all this is all in white people's hands now. So, I mean, that's not really what I'm saying. I'm saying, and so I agree with what Brother Zulu said, is that, man, our intellects who are coming out of these schools, they need to be coming back to these neighborhoods. And like he said, or maybe on like every weekend or something at a community center or something, going through coding, going through engineering principles and all kind of stuff like that, doing some science experiments with some of these children, or can we get an engineer to open up a YouTube or something where he's teaching black children how to do stuff, And hey, I can even open one teaching them law, right? I mean, we need that desperately in our community, and that's no disrespect, Mr. T. Khalik. I respect your opinion, but I really just think, a lot of times that it's just a debate, an endless debate, right? And we got to move at some point from taking the facts from our, opinions and moving on them. At some point, you got to move from conversation, from debate to action. And the action I'm urging us to do is simply because once you go to the school and ask for an Afrocentric curriculum and the school denies you of that, or the school board denies you that, or your state, who usually controls because under the 10th Amendment, states have broad authority to make public schools. And matter of fact, the police, the 10th Amendment is the Police Powers Amendment. And that amendment is so strong, it's almost impossible to challenge it. Matter of fact, the states impose slavery on black people up under their 10th Amendment police powers. And when I say police powers, that don't mean that they got the ability to make the police. That means they got the ability to control the policy that unfolds in their states or in their territories. But there is one caveat. There is one exception to the 10th Amendment police power, and that is the 14th Amendment, because the 14th Amendment was designed to protect black people. And so the Supreme Court has said that when the states are violating the 14th Amendment, you can challenge their police powers. It's called the proportional and congruent doctrine. So you can show that the states are violating the 14th Amendment, and Congress can pass a law that's proportional and congruent to fixing that issue. So there's something that can be done about this. And I know, and I agree with Dr. Amos Wilson. He says that we have a silly faith in law, and I agree with him. He says that a law is nothing but a group, some rules made by people who can enforce them, right? But the fact that the 14th Amendment was made for black people, and the fact that the 13th Amendment was made for black people, I do think that there is something to be gained by trying to use the law to fix our issues, even if it's just to reveal the great hypocrisy unfolding right before our eyes. We need to be using this law to protect ourselves. And I think going to the school and simply asking for an Afrocentric curriculum for your children, and once they say no, that means that the school is saying no. We're not going to respect the Equal Protection Clause. We're not going to respect the 4th Amendment. We're going to continue to enslave black minds.
Can I ask you a question, man? And trust me, bro, I take no disrespect what you're saying. We're just having a friendly disagreement.
Yes, sir.
You say the school teaching black people Afrocentric, and here's another problem I have with that. Why do we want white people to teach us our history? Like, even when you look at the Jewish community, Jewish history is taught in the home, is taught in their synagogues. The same thing with any type of Asian history or Latino history. But why are we so hell bent knowing that the majority of the teachers are white and white women at that, why are we so hell bent that white people should teach us Afrocentric history? I just feel like that's how you get colonized right there. You got some other race of people who not even born into your culture, know nothing about it, but just from what someone else tell them, teaching them, black people, their history instead of black people themselves teaching their children their history. So that's
That's
like, I'm just curious, why do you want schools to do that?
Okay, that's a great question, brother. And I'm gonna say this: I understand that the majority, a lot of these teachers are white, but me personally, as long as the curriculum is black, it's gonna do what it needs to do. I agree with you, right? We got a lot of white teachers, and actually, I wouldn't mind that Afro. I would hope that we could find some people or create a new. I know this might cost the state some money, but maybe. But I think that they still might try to say that, we're being racist there because you can't discriminate. So I really don't care who's teaching the Afrocentric curriculum. The same way we got black people teaching Eurocentric curriculums, and we're getting the same results, right? We're getting black people with white minds. So if we got a white teacher teaching Afrocentric curriculum, we still gonna get a African mind, right? So I really don't care who's teaching it. And also in the 1960s, we had, when I was like say 1950s, with Dr. Karanga, who was the man responsible for Kwanzaa. That was a struggle to get black studies into colleges, right? And from black studies getting into colleges, you get like this renaissance of black literature, black thought. Amos Wilson came up out of this, right? Henry Clark came out of this. So if we got black studies in colleges, which essentially means that black people got to pay for their history and values, but white people just get it for free, right? So so that means that we need a black studies program also in the elementaries and the secondary schools. So, me personally, brother, to answer your point, it doesn't matter to me. It could be an alien up there teaching us Afrocentric history. Once that Afrocentric values and history and all the great struggles and the great glory and accomplishments of our race gets into our children's head, I don't care who's teaching it to them. Long as the content is Afrocentric, it's going to accomplish the same goal that black people teaching Eurocentric history has accomplished, which still gets a white mind in the black child. So it really doesn't even matter.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, but here's the thing, man. I just feel like this doesn't put any onus on black people to learn about their own history. And once again, it is an over reliance on white people. Granted, you did say, white people teach European history or black people teach European history. Granted, this is a Western white country. I mean, we are going to have to understand that. I mean, like, you can't go to China and we got a few Negroes in China, and now we're expecting the Chinese to teach African history in their curriculum. It's just not going to happen. At that point, black people in other countries are going to have to start teaching their children their own history. We cannot, fighting for white people, because it is an acknowledgement for white people to acknowledge us. That's just what it is. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't use the word white supremacy a lot. But if I were a white supremacist, and I always say this, I would keep black people thinking I'm a supremacist or focused on me, because what our community tends to do is we halt. We get to a standstill. We don't move forward on what we have to do unless white people allow us to. So the way to keep the black community halted is to keep saying that, yes, I'm holding you back. And yes, I am not going to give you the keys to move forward. So then the next 100 years, we're complaining about the same thing. This is why we do have to start taking some type of initiative. If the white power structure is not going to teach African-American studies, history, or anything. And also, brother, just look at how black people are portrayed in the media. Where the hypersexualized, black men are either portrayed very beta or very violent. Our women are portrayed very masculine, yet this is considered as empowering and independent.
Well,
That's how they see us.
Can I respond to that, brother? Okay, now I agree with you in the media, right? But like I say, if actors were going to film school with the intent that, hey, I'm going to make some movies for my community to support my community, we wouldn't have that, right? So even the actors that go to film school don't have the proper intentionality when they're learning how to act. And also, you made another comment about what was it? I was going to respond to it. I can't remember.
Black
folks,
say
it again, brother.
Culturally, I think it was black. I don't know. I said black folks culturally just learning how to fend for themselves as far as we need to teach our own history and stop being reliant on white people, because white people thrive off of us being reliant on them, because they know as long as we are relying on them, they don't have to do anything for us, because we will
Well, see,
remain
brother,
stagnant.
brother, I think this would be the first generation, right? So if we get an Afrocentric curriculum in black schools, me personally, I think it would probably be only one generation of white teachers probably teaching us Afrocentric curriculum, because after that, we're starting to build our teachers who are going to be teaching Afrocentric curriculums in the future, right? So I mean, we got to think like Chinese folks think, or like Japanese think, thousands of years in the future, right? Right now, the African diaspora, or the African Americans, I mean, we're a developing country, just like we're a developing nation, just like the countries in Africa are. The only difference between us is that we're a developing nation in the middle of a developed nation, right? So we can't expect, we can't demand the same things that white people get. No, we need to focus on what we got going on. And so if it takes baby steps by having white people, and like I say, I mean, where I'm from, I live in a black city, so actually most of the teachers here are black, right? I mean, we got some white teachers too, but where I'm from, most of the teachers are black, right? So, but even if it is the case, right, that where you got white people teaching Afrocentric history, again, brother, I don't really think that makes a difference, because it doesn't make a difference for black people when black teachers are teaching white children Eurocentric history. It ain't gonna make a difference when white people teaching Afrocentric history, brother. It's literally the logical equivalent. So, just be a little bit more optimistic, brother. You sound
I get it.
you sound very
I get what you're
pessimistic.
saying. No. I get what you're saying, man. I get what you're saying, bro. But I'm a realist, man. Like, look, man. If you're a white man, and I'm being serious, this is not taking up for white people, but this is just being realistically how the world works. You're majority white in this country. Why in the world would you want a competing racist culture to be taught competitively next to your own culture, which can maybe in the future undermine your own culture? Unfortunately, man, unless black folks are willing to have a war and to overthrow the power structure in this country, the white man's history is going to be the predominant thing taught. They don't have to teach our history. I mean, if they want to, that's on them. But
No,
they
you're
don't
right,
have
brother.
to,
That's why I
because
said optional. I'm
they're
not even
looking out for
demanding
their
for the
people, man.
Afrocentric curriculum to be mandatory. I said optional.
Yeah.
That means that if the black child want to continue to be brainwashed, let them be brainwashed. But long as there is an optional curriculum right alongside the Eurocentric curriculum that the black child can opt into, then we're just being fair here. The black child doesn't have to opt into it. He can continue to learn his Eurocentric curriculum and learn black studies when he gets to college.
But what I'm asking, do you truly believe they are not going to water it down, brainwash it, just things like that? Like, do you really think that white people are going to allow black people to teach some type of Afrocentric culture that uplifts black people to make them?
Yeah, brother, I actually think I actually do. I mean, there are a couple of schools in Detroit that are doing the same thing right now. Right. That matter of fact, there's a school that teaches about Marcus Garvey, Patrice Lumumba is in Detroit. So I mean, yes, right, but we need this on a larger scale. And to be honest, white people know that black people ain't finna try to take over nothing, right? Even if they learn all the Afrocentric curriculum. Me personally, right? You know, I think black people. I think white people know that, man, the African Americans are not finna, rise up and fight a war, right? If we didn't rise up and fight a war way back then, we ain't finna rise up and fight a war now. So I don't even think it has anything to do with, fight, because if they truly believe that, then they wouldn't have put the word involuntary servitude in the 13th Amendment. Lawyers wrote this. So surely the lawyers who wrote that amendment knew that, you know what I'm saying, that you can impose involuntary servitude on somebody, and it was white people that wrote that amendment, which means that they were trying to prevent black people from being put into a state of involuntary servitude. So for them to even put that there means that they're not worried about black people rising up against them. That's an example of white people actually trying to do something good for black people. They didn't just say slavery; they also said involuntary servitude. So, I think that's an extreme point, right? I mean, I get it, though. I get what you're saying, right? Why would we do the same thing? If we own white people, will we allow them to learn a Eurocentric curriculum right amongst us? Man, I think we probably would, right? I mean, because we're not like that. But, I get what you're saying, but I don't think it's that extreme, brother. Well, essentially, all this Eurocentric curriculum is going to do is help us solve the problems of our community, right? Help us work together, form our own businesses and stuff. Not go create an industrial military complex. I mean, no. I mean, that's not the purpose of this. The purpose of this is just so our children can have a better understanding of their history, values, and what needs to be done to fix their community, right? I mean, and eventually, hopefully, you know, from that, we'll start to see lines of commerce form between the African diaspora and black people like Marcus Garvey wanted. But, you know, are we going to try to take the world over because we're just learning our history and values again? I don't know. I think that's pretty extreme, right? I mean, and like I said, I mean, that might be something that lies deep within the consciousness of white people, right? But the fact that the law says that you can have involuntary service is enough for me, right? And so what's going on is the states are getting away. The states are getting away with imposing involuntary servitude on black people. So, you know, even if we didn't have the Afrocentric curriculum, the least we could be doing is saying, hey, you guys are imposing involuntary servitude on us, and our ancestors died so our bodies can be free. Well, guess what? Our minds need to be free too. So whatever needs to happen for our minds to be free needs to happen to come into compliance with your federal constitution, which is the highest law of this land. So, I mean, I get it, brother, but I don't know if it's that extreme.
Yeah, man. And look, man, I am totally with you, bro. Like, I do want black people to succeed, be very independent. I do want us to work together. I do want us to trade. I don't like how we are very reliant on white people. I just don't like it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm with you. I think me and you are in agreement. You know, and it was funny. I did laugh when you said that white folks know we ain't gonna take over nothing. You know, I do agree, man. We ain't gonna fight no war or nothing. But I do think that there was a you know, and maybe y'all probably disagree, but with the civil rights movement and integration, I do think that there was a worry that black people were going to be too independent. And, you know, the best way to get us reliant is to integrate, integrate our schools, our community with the white structure. So then that way they can control us. And I believe they've been successful. I mean, even with sports, man, you look at Jackie Robinson, you know, back in the day, black people, I mean, we were praising him. I think it was a baseball player.
Perfect example, brother. Perfect example.
Praising him. But look, now we done destroyed our sports. And now we got number white coaches over us. Now the black, you know, every black athlete has to be politically correct. You know,
yes,
they can't really
true.
go too far. So no, that's what I'm saying. I think there could be a minor worry, and this is why everything is integrated. But no, I get what you're saying though, man. Like, I ain't got too much disagreement.
Let me just jump in here. I agree with both of y'all, and I kind of disagree with both of y'all. I think we kind of like chasing our tail with this argument right here. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I say that is, listen, Afrocentricity is always going to be opposed to Eurocentricity. So T. Khalid, you know what I'm saying, you right in that fact as far as, you know what I'm saying, the white man is not going to give you the knowledge to overtake him. And I was taking the brother at his point where he was talking politically as far as, okay, we go to the institutions and say, okay, listen, you need to be pushing an agenda, you know what I'm saying, to teach black people a history. And once they tell us no, then we have an excuse to go outside that boundary. That's what I was taking him as at his word with that. You know what I'm saying? But as far as with the institutions, it's never going to be an equal footing on the institutions. I just think as far as the institution goes, I think we just need to learn the basics. If we go to the white schools or the public schools and they teach us how to read and write, okay, cool. That's all we need to know how to do. If they
I agree, brother. Leave. So look, if they're not going to teach Afro, then we shouldn't even have social studies, right? School for black kids should be about 3 hours. They go there and learn chemistry and math, which are universal subjects, and go home and learn social studies. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, we could be there for 8 hours if we want to, but you know what I'm saying? We need to go back to the same premise of the argument that you made with intentionality, and that goes according to the community and according to the parents. what do the parents and the community put in the children? Because you can send your children to any school, but if they have the proper mind state, if they have the proper mind, they're gonna learn what they need to learn and bring it back to the community. But if they don't have the proper mind, then you sending them to be like, you know, saying you
Precisely.
like Chancellor Williams said, you can't go to the white institution to be filled like an empty pitcher. You know what I'm saying? You have to go there knowing, okay, yeah, I'm just here to learn mathematics. And then you take that mathematics and turn it into black mathematics. You take that physics and turn it into black physics. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't necessarily about the institution, because right now we gotta move in silence, man. You know what I'm saying? Bad boys move in silence. We got to move under a certain type of level, man. We can't, even though we on the internet yapping and chatting or whatever, we can't let these people know, oh yeah, yo, we about to take over the world another 100 years, because they gonna step up their game. So we gotta be like, yeah, we gotta be on some shit like, yeah, we just trying to go along and get along. But at the same time, when you finish that 8 hours of school, you put in another 4 hours in the community and be like, okay, what did you learn today? This is how you spin it on his head, and you turn it around to make it a black philosophy. But that's gonna come according to the community, the parents, you know what I'm saying, and the elders that's controlling the community. And that's why I always go back to the black men. The black men, you know what I'm saying, they just don't want that responsibility.
Hey, can I say this, brother? Well, and this kind of, you know, one of the arguments that my brother made, and I agree. First of all, I agree with everything you just said, brother. I mean, you said nothing that I didn't agree with, and I don't want to make you feel like that I kind of moved away from what I was saying intentionally. I was really just kind of engaging in a debate with this brother here. But we see the schools tailoring everything to undocumented immigrants and to immigrants, right? I mean, at least in the school system that I'm in right now, or them, you know, every document you get, the back of it is also in Spanish, right? So the schools can't say that, look, we can't do separate, you know, curriculums. I mean, you got separate languages and everything for Spanish and undocumented immigrants. So you mean to tell me you can't do something for the black children who the 14th Amendment was designed for? So, you know, I think it's actually more easier than we think it is, you know. But that's all I'm gonna say. And I'm about to head out, Donnie. So
That's
it
more
was
political. What he's referring to.
You right with that, but we gotta understand they next up to bat. You know what I'm saying? They just being cultivated, you know what I'm saying, to take over our spot. They not being cultivated to exceed the white man. They're just cultivated to take over our spot. And that's what we not understanding, man. You know what I'm saying?
I understand it. I mean, they're literally pretending that black people are invisible, like Ralph Ellison wrote during the Harlem Renaissance. If you ever read The Invisible Man, I mean, black people have been made invisible in this country. So, you know, and nothing is more nothing shows that the most than when you look at what's unfolding in these schools. But hey, let me get up out of here, man. It was great talking to you guys, Dynas. I hope more people hear this message, because people need to know that they are in a state of involuntary servitude. See you guys.
I appreciate you. All right, go ahead, Shaka Zulu. Well, in fact, I put the link in the chat room. I'll put the link in the chat room. You guys want to call in. But go ahead, Shaka Zulu.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, man. I mean, I appreciate what the brother had to say. I just think we're making it too difficult, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if we send our children to school for 8 hours a day, man, they still got 16 hours a day to learn. They can go to school on Saturdays and Sundays, man. But we have to have the institutions for them to learn in. And that's what we lacking, man. We just don't want to put in that work, man. We just gotta admit, man, the Negro is a lazy creature, man. Can we just call it like how it is, man? You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to put in the work, just say you don't want to put in the work, man. You're satisfied with just coming home, you know what I'm saying, drinking the beer, you know what I'm saying, watching TV or whatever, you know what I'm saying, you don't mind getting your ass bust upside the head for 8 hours a day. All right, cool, just admit it. But if you wanna take over the world, if you wanna take somebody else's spot, if you wanna take the block from somebody else, man, you got to go extra hard, man. You gotta grind, man. You gotta grind. You gotta grind 16 hours a day, 20 hours a day, man. You gotta turn off the TV. You know what I'm saying? You gotta put down certain vices, and you just got to grind, man. You gotta get your women under control. You gotta get your children under control. You know what I'm saying? You gotta stop your children from killing each other. You know what I'm saying? Doing all the bullshit. Stop them from gravitating to dumbness, and just you gotta get them on some old physical mentality, and just like, yo, just uplift them, and like, yo, listen, man, it's gonna take 20 years, 30 years, but this is what I need you to do, man. And that's just how we gonna get it done, man. If we just gonna sugarcoat it, man. I mean, I agree with everything the brothers said, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not on that sending my children to school to be educated by white people, man. It's all right to be sending them to school to learn the basics. Just learn the basics, man. That's what a lot of us in Gen X and the millennials ain't do, man. We ain't want to go to school because we ain't, you know what I'm saying, what I'm gonna do with arithmetic, what I'm gonna do with calculus, what I'm gonna do with algebra. It ain't gonna help me in the real world. You know what I'm saying? Come on, just learn the basics, man. That's all we asking you to do, man. And then once you learn the basics, then you can advance to some other type of stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta look at other people, other races, and how they teach their children, man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody talking about, oh yeah, they put the back of the book is in Spanish or whatever. Of course it's gonna be in Spanish, man. Because the Spanish come over here from whatever country they come from, and they like, yo, America, yo, the Negro, I'm gonna take his spot. Yo, they gonna kick you off that pedestal, man. Yo, fuck out of here, man. And as soon as they done kick you off that pedestal, you know what I'm saying, in 10, 20 years, they gonna take over that dominance, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why the white man trying to kick them out, man. Because he see they too ambitious, man. Come on, man. Yo, we know how this, yo, we gotta kind of like diminish everything to the street level. You know what I'm saying? Let's all say you on that corner, Dynas, you on that corner, I'm on this corner, Hustle Smart on that corner, man. Yo,
Salute, my brother.
Hey guys, real quick, we're gonna jump to a quick commercial break, and then I'm gonna pass it to you, Hustle Smart.
Appreciate it.
Danful offers unparalleled, curated, and bespoke tours across Africa for travelers seeking genuine cultural experiences, enriched with magnificent sights, sounds, and flavors found on the continent. Each trip is reliably curated to ensure visitors are gifted with an immersive and authentic adventure. Whether you find yourself strolling along the charming white sand beaches of Sierra Leone, feasting on the mouth-watering delicious foods in Senegal, observing or partaking in various aspects of the Isheshe traditional system Ifa, native to Yoruba land, Nigeria, with Danful, you will rediscover a fulfilling sense of kinship to the true heart of the motherland, her communities. Our core values focus on integrity, quality, safety, and sustainability. We are uniquely committed to assisting with the advancement of African infrastructure and promoting African businesses, so both travelers and the communities they visit receive beneficial exchanges. At Danful, we understand the importance of connectivity, and we have created a model which provides bespoke experiences based on your passions or hobbies. With us, expect a long-lasting spiritual bond between you and your destinations. Live, love, Danful, Africa. To learn more, visit danful.africa.
Go ahead, Hustle Smart.
One second before. Just give me 20 seconds.
Shaka Zulu is my New York brother. I'll get him the extra power before I get the cooking. Go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, I just want to say black people gotta like look at it like this, man. When you on an airplane or when you on a bus and you sitting in that passenger seat and there's only 2 armrests, you know what I'm saying, between you and 3 armrests is between you and the other person, man. Somebody gotta struggle to put their forearm down to that armrest, man. Is either gonna be you, the white man, or the Spanish man? You know what I'm saying? And I pass the mic.
Well, first thing first, man, I appreciate that statement, and AKA Shaka Zulu. Shout out to Dynas, you know what I'm saying, over there, broaden his horizon with his business over there in South Africa that I think is the closest to the shape and Nash and curves as African American women without all the extra cellulite and stomach fat and, you know what I'm saying, boobs hanging down to their ankles. You get what I'm saying? I think the South African chicks is right there with it, without the attitude, without the weave, without the Jerry curls and all that shit. But I digress. So let's get to this topic right here that always comes up around the 90-day mark on Dynas channel. We always have people that tell us things like the brother that just jumped out. I didn't get his name, but he was like, okay, we're in some type of servitude or whatever, and that they're making black people invisible. No, black people make themselves invisible. A black person will be getting the shit beat out of them and see another person getting the shit beat out of them, instead of saying, hey, let's work together and let's all stand up together. The black people go caping for the other people that's getting beat. You get what I'm saying? Like, oh, you know, they don't need this. The same way black people sitting up here having feelings and having emotions for Latino people who don't give a fuck about us. Now, they always like to talk about Malcolm X. They always want to talk about Martin Luther King. You get what I'm saying? But what I always learned was that strength is in numbers. So if strength is in numbers, we're 47 million, but we've been here for 400 years, or you know, from the turn of Ireland, black folks, we always been here. We've been here for all this time, but our numbers is still 47 million, Dynas. 45 to 47 million. Them goddamn Latinos come across the Darien Strait. They walking through mud, alligator-infested water. They setting up taco stands up there. They having they getting pinata things, having birthday parties where they coming across the ocean and across the land in California, and they come over here to America ready to fuck and kick out 2 or 3 kids quick. And they shop with each other, and they party with each other, and they present themselves as, hey, we're gonna work with each other. We're not working with them. They're nepo, baby. They have no problem doing that. But black people, what do? We sit up here and act like somebody owe us some money. You get what I'm saying? If somebody owes us some money, which morally you can say that white people owe us some money, but goddamn, you ain't finna get it by begging them. You ain't gonna get white people to give you shit by begging and holding up some type of catchy slogan, cut the check. You get what I'm saying? And this is always us that sit up here taking up for every other race of people. And then when we sit up there, even when it's time for us to march and complain about our own plight, Dynas, it's only for 2 or 3 days. Do you see the difference? How they did about that Maryland dude? They made up a false name for him. These motherfuckers going all the way to goddamn fucking Guatemala to visit him. You got senators and mayors going across states and countries to visit these people that do wrong. These are Democrats. And then black people sit up there and vote for Democrats at 80 to 90%, black women at 97. These people ain't now one of you ain't heard about now one of these black people. Now one of them native podcasts, whatever, them crying and sissy dudes that's on now, crying ass sissy dudes on that podcast. You ain't never seen them come to the Fulton County Jail. You don't have brothers in there dying from just the conditions of the Fulton County Jail, sleeping on the floor, getting bed bugs, getting ate. You know what I'm saying? Flesh eating bacteria. You ain't saw now one of them come down to that jail. But let a Latino with some goddamn long hair like Rico Suave goddamn start crying. These black people run up, especially these mammies, especially these black women, running up to them like, oh, we got to have a heart. You want to have a heart for a group of people that don't give a fuck about you. California been taken over by Latinos. Texas is now getting taken over by Latinos. The only thing black people do is we sit around in a circle and sit up there and implode against ourselves. And always sitting up here talking about what we need to change and what we need to start off doing. I've been coming on Dinah's channel for 5 years, and for 5 years straight, all I hear is black people talking about what we need to start doing. 5 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if every year we stood up here talking about where we need to start. Every different year we talk about we need to start. And then you got these Latinos people up here taking over industry. In Atlanta, they have taken over the construction business. It is gone, black folks. We need to understand this. And then the Democrat Party told y'all in y'all face. Diners have played that video on this channel 11,000 times where he sit up there and talk to all y'all these black Democrats and black caucuses, told them straight up to the face, no type of whatever. Latinos is up next. Y'all need to pay attention to the Latinos. Y'all need to focus on the Latinos. And what did these black leaders start talking about? Black and brown, black and brown, black and brown. And you want to know why you don't never hear the Latinos say black and brown? Because they sit up there saying, well, if anything, it should be brown and black. We the ones that got the numbers. We the ones that support politicians. Ain't black people ain't supporting shit. Like Dinah's homeboy with the D12, the D9, whatever the fuck they is. The motherfucker came up with $1 million to give commandment. Sit up there, black man for commandment. sit up here, vote. Sit up here, tell them they're gonna vote.
like I can't even say that because I was getting hit up. You know, hell no.
My cousin is a noob. He was sitting up here showing me the text message back. They were asking for $40. $40 with a goddamn weird chick with a white dude ain't got no kids. Talking about she got them cooking greens in a motherfucking bathtub. And y'all black people sitting up there talking about she one of us. And y'all sit up there letting them bringing in 2.5 million Latinos over here ready to fuck. Let me explain something to y'all. Let me use my inside voice. In the United States, at the most, it is 600,000 babies being born, black babies. Black baby being born every year. Now, we're not talking about them, how they grow up or whatever. We're just talking about 600,000. They was literally the Biden administration and y'all girl command me, the curry goat, dirty wine eating ass goddamn Indian chick with the white goddamn husband raising some white motherfucking kids, sitting up there letting 2.5 million in here, and then sitting up there taking them to different counties, different cities, and giving them goddamn benefits that your ass got to go in there and beg for. You got to go down there and goddamn get them pints of blood to get on food stamps. They put them up in hotels. When they ever put a black person up in hotels? Except for Katrina. It took a whole motherfucking hurricane for them to put black people up in hotels, and they were putting up in the trap hotels. But y'all black people sitting up here talking about y'all want to vote for a chick's vagina. That's all she was talking about. And y'all sit up there talking about, but they making black people invisible. Black people make themselves small. When they came over there in Africa 860,000 years ago in them ships, with them Africans over there that had got them Wakanda spears, should have stuck them in their ass and told them the next time they come over there, they're going to stick them Wakanda spears up their ass. But that ain't what goddamn Africans did. They gave them shelter. They came out there to the park and welcomed them in and then started working with them. And that same type of debauchery What black people started in Africa is the same thing that black people do over here on the slave plantation, with black women being mammies. The same way today that on the job that the black woman is the right hand of white supremacy, is the bodyguard. When she would climb the ladder, she would shit on you to get in a position. The same way with the Democrat Party boosted up the black women and demonized the black men. And y'all dudes sitting up here lame as fuck, sitting up there letting women sit up there and run your life because 9 out of 10 you was raised up by a woman. That has nothing to do with it, what you have been through. I am a prime example, black people, that what you've been through don't dictate where you're gonna go. You got to make up in your mind. And that's why I promote entrepreneurship. I think the only thing that can get us out of this is stop being perpetual employees. We got to change the mindset. If we don't change the mindset, nothing is going to change. And I pass the mic.
All right, go ahead, BD.
Yo, peace, Prince. How are you?
Man, I'm doing great. How you doing?
All right, all right. In the tradition of Hustle Smart Simp Academy, I gotta first give you your props, man. You know, Dynas, you're doing very, very good work, man. You know what I'm saying? We greatly appreciate you, man. You know what I'm saying? With your downfall, your businesses and all that, man. That's what's up, brother. For real.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome, brother. My parents is from Africa, as you know, but I only know 2 countries that I've been to, which is Nigeria and Sierra Leone. That's my roots. But you've been all over the continent, man. So right now, you the leader, bro. So keep up the good work, man. We solidly behind you, Prince. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it. Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then I want to also give my props to everybody on the chat right now. Simp Academy, Shaka Zulu, Honey Flower, everybody watching, everybody on the chat. Peace to all of y'all. You know what I'm saying? Prince, I ain't really got much to say today. I just wanted to ask you permission if I can promote my first ever published book that I wrote that's available right now on Amazon Kindle. If I could just promote that, if possible, just 2 seconds.
Hey, BD, in the true form of things, man, you should, always support the brother platform, man. We gotta learn to support each other. You get what I'm saying? To, not just doing anything for free. You can always promote anything, but as black people, man, we need to do like every other race of people. We still need to support brother's platform. You know what I'm saying? Even when it's something simple as a book. That's just my 2 cents on it, bro.
Show you right. Definitely. So I just wanted to ask you that if that was okay, Prince, if I could just promote that real quick.
Hit the Cash App, send a free will offering. That's fair.
Okay. Okay, so I can't do that right now, so I'll hop off. But the next time you got a show, I'll come back on with the Cash App, and then I'll do that.
Or just hit the super chat.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Peace and thank you once again.
Okay, go ahead, Honey Flower.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear.
Okay, this is my first time on this platform. I've been on others. I've been on Kala's. I lasted like 5 minutes on Aphrodite's stream. So this is my first time here. I have been watching, so I just want to clarify that I am African. I'm East African. So I started off like being I would say like a pro-Black person or like pro-Black people in general. I didn't really differentiate myself because I've always seen like, okay, if you're Black, if you have brown skin, we have something in common. So I would watch a lot of videos about Pan-Africanism and stuff like that. Obviously, I've encountered videos about FBAs and stuff, and I've just been in this matrix for about 2 to 3 years, actually maybe more than that. And a common theme that I have, witnessed, and I think we've all reached a point of just total fatigue about the development of just like Africa in general or the elevation of the Black race, right? And I don't want to go into gender, blame men, blame women, but if we're looking at it with common sense and reasoning, obviously it's men who build the societies and then women that, partake in whatever the men build, right? So I have been seeing with with the FBAs and the Pan-Africans and stuff going against each other, I have seen like a common pattern where it's like there's so many like they always like blaming something for the lack of development. Like I've seen now, okay, start off with blaming white supremacy and colonialism, imperialism, and then now that's being scratched off. Now it's starting to go into blaming like, you know, I've seen different things about IQ level or laziness and different things like that. Now we have the, you know, like a rise in popularity of like African YouTube channels where they're just talking about, you know, how it has to do with, you know, African people not being like civilized or smart enough and stuff. If you've seen like a particular guy named Zanu's videos, he talks about how the African mind gets in the way of development and stuff like that. And I've just been sitting here just letting all these thoughts and theories just simmer in my mind. And it's like, okay, you can make excuses, you can blame IQ, you can blame evolution, you can blame whatever you want to blame, but at the end of the day, there are solutions to this issue. Now, when you look at the continent of Africa, when you see like certain areas where non-blacks seem to live, like in certain places in Kenya, South Africa, those places tend to be developed, right? Because those people come in there and develop it. So instead of my proposition or my theory or my conclusion to all of this effery that I have been witnessing is, in order for Africa to develop, because with Black people, there's always going to be blame. There's always going to be people crying about, you know, white supremacy and stuff. We might as well, as Black people or the Black race, just collaborate with other races in the development of Africa, because as of right now, that seems like that's the only like logical, rational conclusion that actually creates results. Sorry to say. I used to be like a whole Pan-African person, but I'm seeing too many excuses. So in my mind, with the whole BRICS thing, if the African nations are able to create collaborative relationships with other nations to where they can, you know, work with different races, people out of their race, to build Africa, that may be the only way. Because now I'm seeing pushback from Africans literally saying that it's impossible for them to civilize. So that's where I'm at with all this.
Yeah, can I respond to that?
Go ahead, then I'll pass it to Hustle Smart.
Listen, man, the only people that's gonna build Africa is the Black man, yo. If the Black man hasn't got that through his head, his thick skull, you know what I'm saying? You gotta build it from the ground up, man. You're gonna have to struggle for a little while, man. The Chinese struggle, the Japanese, everybody gotta struggle, man. You gotta build your own foundation, man. You can have allies, you can have people that come and work for you. You can even be educated by certain people, man, but they can't build it for you, man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta build it with your own sweat and blood, man. That's how you're gonna learn how to appreciate it, man.
But
It's simple evolution, man. No,
years you have to do it. You have to do it. Now they're making excuses. Our IQs, we can't build.
I understand what you're saying, but I think what you need to do, you need to tune out a lot of this FBA noise, and see, you have to be a person of discernment, man.
It's Africans that are saying that they like, if you look, he has said in videos, he said Africans are incapable of building civilization. So if man feels that he cannot build a civilization, then that's why I'm saying the only logical conclusion, because I'm a very problem solver person. I don't like to talk about things. I like to get things done and everything. So I'm looking
but if you know your history, why would you even listen to people that say that when you already built civilization? Yeah.
What civilization? What civilization that Black people built?
Well, the civilization of Kemet and Ghana and all that.
All right, let me speak on that real quick because I'm glad you brought that up. Because that was my next point to what Miss Honeyflower said. And I know I know who you are, Miss Honeyflower. You're real fair person, fair thinking. A lot of them try to pick on you or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? I always think you're a fair person when you talk. Now, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes, especially a female, they're gonna hit you quicker for telling the truth because most Black women just don't tell the truth. They have a narrative that they stay on, and they expect for you to toe that line, and you're not like that. So you're gonna get picked on regardless, but still stay your course. Now let's talk about what you just said, Anthony, about Kemet. See, the way that the pharaohs was in those days, that's what the pharaohs in those days. If you brought those same pharaohs in the year 2025, they wouldn't be shit. Like some people was for that time. So this is what I say about Black people. Black people are the perfect slaves. You get what I'm saying? When they came over there and brought us over here, we was good. We can stand the heat. You know what I'm saying? We used to catch malaria. Hey, you got Nigerians. I just got off the phone with somebody from Nigeria, just caught malaria for the 3rd time this year. You know what I'm saying? We bucking malaria, we bucking typhoid. You get what I'm saying? Like we can stand the heat, we can work long hours. You know what I'm saying? We got broad shoulders, you know what I'm saying? Long arms. You get what I'm saying? Perfect for picking cotton. You get what I'm saying? And on top of that, you know what I'm saying? We're easy to pit each other, pit one against each other. You know what I'm saying? It's easy for us to pick out a light-skinned one and pit them against the dark-skinned one. It's easy to, you know what I'm saying, put the honey flower and get the dark. I don't know if you're light-skinned or not, honey flower, but I'm just using it as an example. But it's easy to get honey flower and get the darker skinned Black women to start hating on her and to pit each other against each other. And now you got distinction in the workplace, on the slave plantation, on in the desert, however you want to see it. And what I'm saying is that the Black person is good for being the perfect employee. If you want to go even deeper, the perfect slave. It's no different between being a perfect slave and the perfect employee. You know what I'm saying? Even the Black people even the business that we open up in America, and it's not based on anything that we can get passed down generational wealth. It's no business where we're producing any type of organization where we can lobby politicians or even create our own politicians. You know what I'm saying? The Democratic Party got the goddamn Black people in the buck, legs around their neck, arms pressed to the bed. That's how the Democrat and Black people loving it. Like, give us more. Pause.
Oh.
Yeah, I want y'all to picture that. The Democrat Party got the Black race in the buck. Legs around their neck, shoulders pressed to the bed, looking them dead in their face and telling them just to do what we say, follow what we say, and then you know what? If something happened to you, we're going to say that that's wrong. We ain't going to change anything for you, but we just going to say that's wrong. We're going to pat you on the head like a dog, and that's all Black people want. And now, don't get me wrong, and you got the 15%. You know what I'm saying? You're a part of the 15%. I'm a part of the 15%.
I was about to say that.
Hold on, though, Ant. Hold on, Ant. This what happens to the 15%. When you got the 85 so dumb and they super duper ultra mega slaves, it makes us become individualists. It makes us sit up there and go work how we work, do the business that we build, make sure our family is good, and we try to send out and promote a message. But the 15% can't change anything because the 85% is lockstep with a party that just want our vote. And they don't have to do anything for us. They sit up here trying to move mountains for the Latinos. You know what I'm saying? You got Black people that come online right now and start talking about, well, after Latinos, Black people next. What they ain't got to do? They ain't got to get rid of Black. Why would they get rid of Black people and Black people vote for them 80-90%? It's the Latinos that sit up there and make you earn their vote. Ain't not Black people. You ain't got to earn black people vote because remember, they got them in the bug. Ain't nowhere to go. So they come around every 2 or 4 years, sit up there and call somebody racist, and you got black people sit up there like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's the devil between two devils, and I'd rather go with a Democrat. Democrat like us. That's all black people care about. Let me explain something to you, Ant. Black people act like they don't like white people. Black people have been loving white people since they came over there in them ships in Africa, since the slave plantation. The only problem that black people have against white people is that white people don't love us the same way we love them. We love them. We love to see when a white boy and a little white girl do a dance, but we invite them to the cookout, the baby shower. You get what I'm saying? Your cousin, when your cousin get out of jail and y'all take them to goddamn Golden Corral, you invite white people anyway. Let me explain something to you, and I want you to listen to this real good, my brother. The safest person in the most dangerous hoods in America is a white person. A white person can walk their dog, they can ride their scooters, they can run around, and they got them Zimbabwe booty short jogging midnight in the roughest neighborhoods, roughest black neighborhoods, and black people won't breathe on a picture of them.
Bro, I already know that, man. I live in New York City.
But this is my point though. If you're that easy to allow the people who you claim is the enemy in your neighborhood, so to speak, and then the people that are in your neighborhood are the people that look like you in your neighborhood, then you come over there, you want to question them. So riddle me this, Ant. Why do black people question black people coming to black neighborhoods and not white people with their Zimbabwe booty shorts on, jogging through the neighborhood? Why do black people do that, Ant?
Because most black people fear white people. That's why.
Then if they fear them, that means that they will let them pet like a dog. You can get the most vicious dog in the world. But if they master come around, what do that dog do when that master put his hands out? What do that dog do? That vicious dog go up to master's hand and put his head up under there and let master rub him on his goddamn head and rub him on his chin. But black people, hold on, Ant. Black people even worse. Black people lay on their stomach and put their legs up in the air.
And start twitching their legs, right?
start shaking, start shaking like they got Parkinson's disease, bro. Start shaking like a stripper when they get on the white people. Black people get around white people and get extra chatty. But they turn it. I see why First 48 was so goddamn popular. You get what I'm saying?
So do you?
Right, but listen,
well, guys, real quick. Let me read this super chat. Shout out to Philly Yardy Vibes 808. Thank you for the $5 holla. Where have you been, bro? Big up. I'm back. I'm gonna be more consistent. Go ahead.
So do you understand why I say that? After listening to arguments on both sides, I've completely abandoned Pan-Africanism. I don't believe in African nationalism anymore. Right now, I'm just like drifting, just floating in nothing, because it's like, if there's so many issues within the black race, and we're thinking logically, the only way that Africa will be able to be built is if there's a collaborative relationship with different nations, different cultures, different tribes, and it becomes like I don't know if it's the right word is metropolitan or cosmopolitan society. Because even with Egypt, when you look into it, yeah, obviously there were black people there, but there were also non-black people, to be honest with you. It was
True.
like a mixed society. So it's like that may be the only way. Because with Africans are saying themselves, like, we don't want Pan-Africanism. We don't want like, if you look online now, there is a rift between Black Americans and Africans. So clearly, like, there's always going to be bad blood there because of the fact that Africans sold, you know, the slave trade. So there's always going to be that bad blood. So that's what I'm saying and also with AI getting in the picture, with AI taking over, we're going to be living in a completely, totally new world. So
Right.
like all of this whole, you know, these jobs and everything's going to be completely changing. And I do, in the future, if you look into the agendas, they do want to create a borderless world where, like, even though it seems like they're not doing it, they want to create a one world government, one world currency, digital currency, and everything like that. So the only way Africa, I feel, logically will be able to develop itself as we go into the AI, you know, governing world that we're going to be living in, is if they collaborate with the other BRICS nations, and if they allow different, you know, groups to come into the country and build it. Because as of right now, this whole Pan-African thing, I don't see it.
Pan-Africanism is dead, honey flower. Don't let none of these YouTubers fool you on that. Pan-Africanism is dead. Go ahead, Ed.
Listen, man, I hear what y'all saying, man, but y'all missing the context, man. Because Honey Flower, she's saying collaboration, BRICS nation. Okay, what are you talking about, Brazil? First of all, Brazil already colonized all the black folks in Brazil. They live in favelas or whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? So all of a sudden, Brazil gonna come into Africa and they gonna treat the black people in Africa with a fair square. You know what I'm saying? No, it's not gonna happen. You talking about Russia? Come on, Russia is another colonizer waiting to take control, man. India has a caste system, man. China is definitely, you know what I'm saying, doing their own thing. You know what I'm saying? Look how they treat you wherever the Chinese are at, man. You know what I'm saying? They disrespect black folks to the utmost disrespect, man. You know what I'm saying? Collaboration only works if you have equal footing. You know what I'm saying? I trade with you and you trade with me on equal footing, man. If somebody's gonna come in and build your stuff, they're gonna take your stuff, man. That's how Egypt fell, man. You know what I'm saying? I know Hustle Smart was talking about, oh yeah, the pharaohs back in the days, they was different. They wouldn't have been the same nowadays. They made their mistakes, but we did not learn from their mistakes, and they themselves did not learn from their mistakes. The foundational core, the foundational principle of Egypt was a black foundation, man. They just kept on letting these Asians in and intermix with them and intermarry with them. You know what I'm saying? Which led to their downfall, man. And the same cycle has been repeating itself. But if you got the 15%, the 15% gonna have to stand on some type of strong, solid foundation, man. And if they got to kill at least half of the 85%, that's what they're gonna have to do, man. Nah, you laughing, man, but it's gonna have to be totalitarian, man. It's gonna have to be it's gonna have to be
I agree with you, Ed. I really do agree with you.
Authoritarian type of control, man. Because even in every society, in every nation, man, the majority of the people are uneducated. The majority of the people are just not wise, man. And that goes in every society. The only difference between the black society and every other society is that these other people, they get on board with the people, the 15% that does have the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? We, on the other hand, we jump ship off the 15% that has the knowledge or the wherewithal to get us somewhere.
All right, hold on for a second. Hold on for a second. Let me tell you. Let me show you how two things can be right. Something can be right and wrong at the same time. Part of your sentence is right, saying that the 15% need to do something, but at the end of the day, the 15% that I'm talking about is aging out. The younger generation, I have kids in the younger generation, they don't think like that. They don't think like us at all. You get what I'm saying? So therefore, the 15% is aging out. The 15% that I'm talking about was born in the 70s and the 80s. We are down now. We ain't no spring chickens no more. You get what I'm saying? And the younger generation, as much as I preach to my kids be sit up there talking about, let's just listen to his crazy ass and let me get that cash out, shawty. Let me get that bank card. Let me get that Capital One. Let me get that Target card. That's all my kids want to hear. They'll sit up there and play the role because they think that I'm going to go over there and jump over there and choke their ass out and drag them in the showers and beat them up. But after that, they learn that let him talk and then he'll give us money. That's how the kids are these days. These kids these days, they're not about revolution. There's no revolution in these kids. You get what I'm saying? So at the age that we are, most of us in the 15% are business-minded people. Most of us in the 15% have been on their jobs or been doing their business 10 or 15 years, and you probably been on your job 10, 20 years. You get what I'm saying? So the 15% that think like me and you got way more to lose than talking about standing up for 85% of black women that sit up there want to get beat up by Chinese people and still stand outside and want to get their nails done. Sit up there jumping in trash cans, looking for weave, sitting up here fighting and twerking at restaurants getting thrown out. And you got black men running around here sassy as fuck with jeans all up in their ass and dancing and crying and being emotional and being thugs at the same time and then procreating. You get what I'm saying? So you got this type of lifestyle of what's up next. We always got to think about, and you're a smart guy, but a lot of times with our black people, we always talk about what we need to do. And then when you want to talk about raising up the new generation, ain't no talking to them about the shit that we talking about. They don't want to hear nothing about Africa. They don't want to hear nothing about Marcus Garvey. They don't give a fuck about Malcolm X. And goddamn MLK can suck they dick. Pause. You get what I'm saying? They don't want to hear nothing about that shit that happened back then. You get what I'm saying? And that's the problem, because we're aging out. So the 15% can't do nothing but sit up there and try to get these other black people that's not even with it. Black people, all black people want to do is drive 80, 90 miles an hour through the interstate, try to get to work on time, you know what I'm saying, talk shit while they at work. Then on Fridays and Saturdays, some black people like to go to the club, some black people like to go to church. It's the same damn thing. It's just entertainment. And now you look on internet and YouTube, in the YouTube, TikTok street, all you see is black people on at churches. They don't turn into a full live concert. Full live dance party. It's like Freaknik for Jesus. All you see is chicks and dudes falling around, dancing, twerking, and jumping around. And then you seeing the people, like the black people, going out in the clubs in the church, chicks out there damn near butt naked, which I have no problem with that, ladies. Keep on dressing scampi and shit. You make it easier for me. But what I'm saying is that this is what is life. And then on top of that, Aunt, me and you come from the same timeline. We remember back in the days where it was white people concerned about entertainers' business, entertainers' relationship. Now look online. Black people are the new groupies. Black people are the new group. You got the motherfucking Beehive. You got the Rihanna Navy. You got the Nicki Minaj. You got all these motherfucking subset of groups. You got FBA. You got ADS. You got all these splinter cells. Black people, we're like a cubicle. We're like an 8-dimension cubicle that's sectioned off. So what I say is, that's why I say we're doomed, because we're so sectioned off as a group. Now sometimes we can come up here and have a message, but once we get off of this platform, then we go back into our subsets. Like, I'm a firm believer of entrepreneurs, but most of all my friends and family are happy employees. And I always talk about how they sit up and talk about how many microwaves in the break room, because I heard it from them. My microwave is in my truck. You get what I'm saying? Like that, the things I hear about how black people do their employees and how their white supervisors, I get that from listening to them. You get what I'm saying? About, as long as they don't call a black person a nigga, then they'll work for them for 30 years. That's all white people don't have to do. White people teach their kids to manage. We teach our kids to work. You get what I'm saying? That's why at 14 or 15 years old, if your child, now might not be your child or my child, but most black people, especially black women, when they child get a job 15, 16 years old, they trying to take some of the money. They throwing a bill in the child's face. To the point that make the child move out at 17, 18 years old with another child, and they both coming home smelling like nasty ass Taco Bell. You know what I'm saying? White people don't do their kids like that. So what I'm saying is, it's how we teach the younger generation. That's why I'm telling we're gonna lose we're gonna lose as black people. It's how we teach the younger people. Now, me, I don't ask my kid for shit. They don't have to come over here and clean up. They come over here and stay as long as they want to. They don't have to give me a dime. I'm not gonna ask them for a dime, but I'm gonna teach them about finances, open up bank accounts, and all that. As long as they follow those rules, they can stay. I don't put no monetary obligations on my kids, because I see that's how all other black people do. We're black people, we're real money hungry. And then in Nigeria, they Naira hungry. And goddamn South Africa, they ran hungry. If you go to goddamn Ghana, they're CD hungry. That's just the way black people are. So we get up every day and work for pennies on the dollar. That's why just make logic sense, is that the black race is not built off of logic. We're built off of strength and labor. White people teach. I listen to their radio stations, Dinus, and I listen to them talk. And when they go have their church meetings, and when they having these developments, they got these business that open up. They be like, "Hey, we're gonna go over here and support this business. We're gonna support this business on Monday. We're gonna support this business on Tuesday." They come together with a plan. That radio station come up with a scheme, something to practice. Our radio station talking about who the best rapper, who the best dancer, who got the best weave, how good Sierra can still dance at 84. You need to lead black women, mind their business. No type of organization with black people. It's paternity test Tuesdays, who in your business Wednesday, who sleeping with who, you get me, who mad, and Tory Lanez is mad wrong, and Meg Stallion can't do no wrong, and go really all this stupid shit. And then on top of that, we want to goddamn call black people at 6. Hold on for a second. I'm finna end that this. And at the end of the day, at 6 o'clock in the morning, we want to call black people and play on the phone. We have, I know that you have a strategy, but black people don't have a strategy, and they don't want a strategy. And I pass the mic, my brother.
Okay, I gotta get going. I have to do these courses a little online and stuff. So, but this is what I have to say. My brain is everywhere. My mind is everywhere today. So I'm a little bit scattered. But it is not the responsibility of African Americans to build Africa. It is not their duty at all, because African Americans, they're separated from the continent hundreds of years. And obviously, yes, you can go to Africa, you can live there, you can marry Africans, you can do all of that. But I don't think that African Americans should take on this headache of Pan-Africanism or this headache of building Africa. Because if you just look at Africa, like these different countries, they don't trade with themselves. They don't work with each other. They don't collaborate. They share different they share similar foods. They share similar cultural practices, but they still haven't come together to create like any type of industries. So that's what I'm just saying, like this whole Pan-African thing is just a headache. Like when I hear you talk about the Black community and all the stuff that you were saying about Black women in the Chinese shops, like I can't blame Black women for going to Chinese shops and doing all that stuff, because the Chinese people are the ones creating the business. Those are the business that where else like if there were more Black businesses, then they wouldn't have to go to the Chinese shops. They wouldn't have to get beat up by people or whatever.
I agree.
So, you know what I'm saying? They're just going to a place where literally that's how business works, supply and demand. Like there's a demand, and these other races of people, they're able to supply it. And I'm not saying that African Americans or Black people can't do that. We're capable of doing these things, but I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's spiritual. I don't know if it's mental. I don't know what it is, but I don't get into African American people's business because I don't want to do that. I'm African. I don't want to overstep my boundaries. But in terms of Africa, the development of Africa is not the responsibility, is not the role, it's not a burden for African Americans to carry. If anything, just watch, sit in the background and look at how things are going. Because from what I'm seeing, the way things are going, I mean, I do see some developments, I do see some changes, but I am going to be honest. A lot of the changes, a lot of the developments are coming from other races. It's not necessarily coming from Africans themselves. It's them collaborating with Chinese people. It's them, giving land and giving port access, allowing these people to open like manufacturing companies. Obviously, I would be happy if African Americans were the ones doing that. And I've heard from African Americans that when they have tried to do that, they've been scammed. They've had very disturbing experiences. But I mean, that's why I just want to state that, Africans say they talk their stuff on their, side of YouTube and stuff like that. But to be honest, it is on Africans to develop Africa. And I'm not gonna put too much hope in them, because from what I'm seeing, they're not creating or developing as fast as they should. I've been watching videos about how South Africa has deteriorated under the control of the ANC. Like, they took a country that was functioning, like a country that was prosperous, and they're slowly plunging it to hell. So that's why I'm just saying that perhaps the logical conclusion is for Africans themselves to work with other nations or something to develop their country. Because if you look at Ethiopia, like, everything that I say is based on facts. You can look up these contracts, you can look up these manufacturing companies, you can look up all of this, right? And you can see that majority of these buildings, that these hotels and apartment complexes, they are being built by Chinese people. So Africa is literally, let's face the music, let's stop believing in the fantasies. Africa is being developed right now in front of our eyes by non-Africans. So when you put in a Black American in the mix, and you're wanting to develop, how are you going to go develop someone's country that they're not even developing themselves? You understand what I'm saying? So this whole thing is just a disaster. That's all I have to say.
All right, I know someone else is trying to come on, but they couldn't get their connection together. So we'll wait about another 30 seconds that we'll close out and see if the other person wants to come on.
Listen, I agree with what the sister's saying, but to you, Hustle Smart, man, you still at military age, brother.
I'm still what?
Military age, bro.
Bro, my knees and my back hurting right now.
Right, so take a back seat, then, man. Ain't nothing wrong with my knees. Ain't nothing wrong with my back.
Hey, I got $30 bamboo stitch pillows under my knees, bro.
Before the sister come on, let me ask you a question, man.
Go ahead.
If you got the opportunity to throw everything in the ring and say, "Yo, listen, man, I'm just gonna go for broke, so these youngins can live what I've been trying to dream," are you willing to do that?
Fuck no, because I got. Hold on, let me tell you why. Let me give you the complete answer. I got kids. I got kids that depend on me. Why would I crash out for some black
I'm
people
talking
that
about
don't
your children.
that don't that,
I'm
listen? I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you raw. Pause. What I'm saying is that I have to think about my family. That's why I was telling you about that. What happens when you become the 15%? You become the person that your kid. I love it that my kids depend on me because I didn't have that with my parents. You get what I'm saying? My kids can call me anytime of the day, get any type of advice. I can talk to them. I can be like, hey, you want to talk to me as a dad or you want to talk to me as a friend? I like that. Why would I sit up there and crash out for a group for 85%? That want to sit up there and go to a concert and watch Meg Thee Stallion shake her stinking ass. Why would I crash out for something like that?
All right, let me pass the mic to Chandra. Go ahead, Chandra. Let me just tell Chandra. Chandra.
Yeah, I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm not quite sure exactly what we want to achieve just by having this conversation, but I really got interested in what I guess Olga was saying, especially because I seem like I'm in his same generation, right?
Olga Adogo Pereira.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. So I understand, like, I can definitely see the degradation of society, but I don't see that it's only with Black people. But I do feel hurt more that I see it with American Black people, right? So I see the clubbing, I see the ridiculous nails, the lashes, the crazy hair, the whatever, just the consumerism of it. But I also see advancement. Just recently, I moved to the Northwest Coast, and I can see large pockets of Black people who are really interested in their own art, be it like digital art or actual art where they have residencies in museums, even cinema. I've seen many people getting together and getting grants and writing books about their experience being a Black person. So I find that to be incredibly progressive because, just documenting actual history, whether it be kind of recent history or what's going on present, important. The other thing is that I really don't feel like we can bring any change anywhere in any nation, whether it be here in America or in Africa, by just giving the people that are negative a platform and then telling them that they're negative and just having that conversation go back and forward and forward. I think the only real way to make progress is to amplify those who are being progressive, finding those people that are doing what they want to do as opposed to doing what, maybe someone in your high school clique told you what to do. But also, I'm going to kind of end this with saying that, yeah, I get it that some young people don't care, but I have 3 kids. My youngest is like 22. My oldest is 26. One of them moved out of the country when Trump got elected the first time. She went to college in Canada. I helped her pay for that. I helped another kid pay for college in Miami. And these kids are actually like doing what they want to do, basically because I raised them with the ability to know not only themselves, but others around them. So it's not only just us studying ourselves. We have to also study people around us. And I'm just going to end it by saying that America is not a nation that we need to be like kind of pledging allegiance to, because it has done absolute atrocities, not only to us, but also to Blacks living in other places, namely Haiti, going on right now, where we implemented the last 9 presidents in that country and won't let them be free now. So that's kind of just what I wanted to add. And hopefully that, people, even with the passion that I hear, that we could turn that to a more positive framework.
Is this your first time on the show?
Yeah, it is. It's not my first time listening, but it's the first time that I'm just like, you know what, I have time, so I want to add my voice.
Well, I'm gonna tell you that I'm mad at you that you don't come up here more often and speak, because when I talk like that, you basically you're the lighter, you're the more complete version of what I said. You know what I'm saying? You put it in a more. You put it in a cute Christmas package. You get what I'm saying? Like, we need people that come up here and tell the truth and sit up there and say it the way you're saying it. Like, anytime, come up here and jump on and speak your mind. You get what I'm saying? Because we have so many people that got this high mentality that with that you know for yourself the way, just by the way you talk, how dysfunction it get a spotlight. And people that talk like me and you, I'm not saying you talk exactly like me, but I'm just saying on that wave, on that wave of the way that we talk, we're the minority. You get what I'm saying? Like, they have to be promoted because somebody that likes the way you talk will see your point, and the people that's more passionate like me, that they hear my point. So what I'm just asking you, you know what I'm saying, come on the channel, you know what I'm saying, just don't be a listener, put your voice out there, because your voice is that voice that we need to push people in the right direction. Because the way we going now, you see how it is. You just don't say it the way I say it, but I can tell by the way that you talk, you see it somewhat the way I see it.
Mhm. Absolutely. I agree. I'll take that invitation and maybe come and speak more often.
I appreciate that. And this is what I got to say to all y'all sitting up in the chat that always act like y'all got something against what I'm saying. Like some type of way, I'm the reason why black people's in the condition that we in. Like I'm the reason why black women jumping in the trash can. Like I'm the reason why black women running their cars into car. Why I'm the reason why black people fighting at the nail shop. And one thing Miss Honeyflower said about the nail place, she was saying that black women don't have any place to go to. Yes, they do. The problem is that the black women that do nails overcharge. My daughter went to a black girl, the girl charged her like $80, $90. You know what I'm saying? For some that the Chinese people charge her $20 for. When you go to the black restaurants, Miss Chandrea, you know what I'm saying? Black people want to charge you $89,000 for 2 pieces of chicken. You get what I'm saying? We overcharge each other. And like I talk about the Latino community, that's why they'll never go out of bid. They would never lose, because Latinos never get tired of eating tacos. And tacos is always around $2 and $3. Burritos is always around $9 and $12. But you go in the black restaurant, they're going to give you 4 oxtails for $69,000. You get what I'm saying? Like even the business that we have as black people, those are not business that you can afford to patronize on a daily basis. But I see the business that all other races do, Miss Chandrea, that they do. These are businesses that black people can go in there with $5 or $10, make a purchase. Go in any black person's business and go in there with $5 or $10, see what you come out of there with. You get what I'm saying? They want to charge you. They want to charge you for making the order. They want to charge you a gratuity fee. They want to charge you a to-go fee. You get what I'm saying? And they want to charge you $20 for parking. Like what I'm saying is that we do it to ourselves. You get what I'm saying? Like Miss Chandrea, I know I'm a simple guy from Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the old school. I don't give a fuck about no LED lights on the wall when I'm going to get my food. If you don't put all that garnish on the plate, maybe you could give me some more chicken. Take that garnish off the plate and give me some more food for the $69 you're trying to charge me for 2 pieces. And then with the attitudes, then with the, black people, we always complaining. No, because I can go to a Latino restaurant, I can go to any small business chain restaurant and get a level of service for a price, and they ain't got to worry about no hidden fees. I ain't got to be pressured about getting a tip. Miss Chandrea, why do I got to get pressured about a tip when I'm coming to get a pickup order? Please tell me that.
Can I say something? Can I say something real quick, man?
I'm just one second. That's community.
Listen.
A lot of the Chinese.
Let the sister respond. Go ahead, Chandrea.
A lot of the Latino and Chinese or Asian American, they have community, and a lot of them are kind of like an indentured type thing as well, that allows them to charge that very small amount when women go in there and get their nails done. But I'm totally agree. I got a crap nail job done in Raleigh, North Carolina for $150 that didn't last 2 days when I tried to, go to my own people.
You ain't slap nobody?
I was already in Florida by the time the nails started popping off.
But did you want to slap somebody?
Of course I did, because I was like, I could have did that myself. But community. So that's just the main word that I want to focus on. If we want to like reduce prices, then we need to have you know, I hate to say it, like a community bank that gives people that get businesses good rates to open those business stores, the security for the stores. Like we're still robbing our own places. That we need to be the distributors instead of just being the store. We need to be the warehouses that distribute the food on a larger scale and the items that they need. Because everywhere you go with a Black name and a Black business, you're not going to get a good rate.
I like her,
Listen,
man.
can I say something? Can I say something? Because I understand the circular argument, but let me tell you something, Hustle Smart, man. We 70s babies, right? You know what I'm saying? We Gen X, right? We late Gen X and all that, right? Yo,
True.
we owe it. We got a debt to pay, son. Hear me as a warrior to another warrior, man. Yo, we done taught the community. We done sold the most drugs. We done did the most gangbanging, son. We got a debt to pay, family. You know what I'm saying? If we don't put in at least 2 cents and get this shit back to how it was, you know what I'm saying? We gonna go down in history as a generation that never did nothing. At least the generation before us, at least they fought and died for what they thought they believed in, man. Whether it was wrong or right, man. But Gen X ain't did shit up to now, man. That's all I'm telling you, man. You talking about your bad knees, your bad back? Okay, I can use you as a counselor, man. I can use you as a figure, you know what I'm saying, to give good advice, man. But we gotta throw our hat in the ring, family. You know what I'm saying? We can't depend on the millenniums just to do it by themselves, man. And damn sure Gen Z ain't gonna do it because they more confused than anybody else, man. Come on, son. Yo, we got the best of both worlds as far as with Gen X, man. We got the teachers from the baby boomers, you know what I'm saying? And we was able to see the destruction that we caused, man. So we got to get this shit right, man. Come on, man. I just turned 50 last month, family. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm about to go crash out, but yo, I gotta go put in some type of 2 cents as far as, yo, listen, man, how to correct the situation, man. Cause yo, you know, either we gonna go on in the history books as warriors that fought and died for what we believed in, or we gonna go down in the history books as losers that never did nothing, man. At least the 60s generations, they can say at least they had the Black Power movement or whatever, man. What we gonna say we did? We sold crack? We sold cocaine? We sold weed? Come on, family. That ain't good. Come on, son. Come on, man. Enough of the games already, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm only listen, I don't even like coming on these platforms no more because ain't no solutions out here, man. You know what I'm saying? I already know I got a solution, but the only reason why I'm not putting only reason why I'm not doing really what I need to be doing is because I haven't developed that enough self-discipline right now, you know what I'm saying? But as soon as I get that self-discipline unlocked, then I can say, okay, listen, my mind is under control, my body's under control, my spiritual's under control. So, you know what I'm saying? I can go and preach to everybody else, man. But I'm not scared of nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm a warrior just like anybody else out here, man. You know what I'm saying? And I think contrary to what the sister that was up here that said, yo, it is up to the Black people in America, man. It is up to the Black people in the Caribbean, man. You know what I'm saying? Because we got the most knowledge and we got the most education and we are closest to the military might, you know what I'm saying, that's going to help Africa build up, man. China wasn't shit 30, 40 years ago, man. Think about that, man. With all of us spending all that money on Chinese food and the nails and all that other stuff, that helped build up the economy, man. Come on, man. All we gotta do is just is make a U-turn and say, listen, see what y'all advocating to say, oh, we can't control our women. How does that really sound? We can control our women, man. So your women is really not gonna listen to you, man. We can control our children. Your children can't listen to you, but you gave birth to them. But your children ain't gonna listen to you? Come on, man. What kind of father are you if you can't control your children and tell your children what to do? What kind of husband are you?
How you gonna control black women?
By giving them consequences, man.
What?
That's number one.
You gonna give a consequences and repercussions like on the movie Life?
Bro, listen, I don't tolerate that shit in my family.
Bro, but that's what we call anecdotal. That's what I'm telling you about what you can do in your family. You can do that to Chandrea. What I'm saying is the way I talk to the women. Listen to me, bro. The way that I talk to the women in my family, I can't talk to women outside of my family like that. These people know me. You get what I'm saying? So they know me because the way that I am and the way that my support system works. What I'm saying is you can't talk to a group of women that feel like they separate right now. And black women want to separate from black men. When black women go to the Democratic Party, they say what's for us. They don't say what's for us and black men. They don't say what's for the black community. They like give us free. Give us something. You get what I'm saying? They don't speak. When black women speak, they don't speak. Hold on, Ed, you just talked for 5 minutes straight, bro. What I'm saying is that when black women speak, they don't speak as a group of people. They speak as individualist group of people themselves. Now, when black men speak, we always talk that with that bravado, like, oh, if men build it, the women gonna follow. The black women have no intention. They have no reason to follow us because we don't give them jobs. White people give black women jobs. I'm pretty sure Miss Chandrea worked for somebody white. The black men are not offering anything to black women but death, dick, and disaster. That's it. I mean, it sounds good.
Hey, I got. Let me.
But we don't offer it.
I got to pass the mic to Jay because then we got to close out. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. Hey, Dynas, man, it's good to hear you back up here, man. I was kind of wondering if everything was cool because I hadn't seen much from you in a while, you know. But it's good to see you back at it, you know.
Appreciate you. We here.
And having these live panels and stuff. I kind of wanted Honeyflower. I was kind of glad to hear her. She was over here too, because I like a lot of her points and stuff like that. Just the last thing Hustle Smart said there. I mean, like if you want to control women to that level, I mean, you got to go to like Afghanistan or like maybe Saudi Arabia or something. You know what I mean? Like, you know, they got to control themselves too at the same time. And then black women vote Democrat, what, maybe 93%, you know?
97, sir. 97.
Okay, 97. And it depends on which election you're talking about. I think the last election, and then I think black men were what, 80, 83, somewhere around there?
You said it right.
So it's not that big of a difference between black men and black women in terms of voting patterns. You know what I mean? So, and I don't really have an issue voting for Democrat. I think it's a better choice personally right now. But, you know, everybody has their own individual ideas and goals, and we have things that we share together too in terms of goals and ideas and stuff like that. But everybody is going to have something that's individual to them, generally speaking, you know, that they might not. And so when people vote, I think black women, they look out for the black community too. I think black men do too. I mean, black men, the majority of us are probably working for white folks too. You know what I mean? Probably the majority of every race is working for white folks in reality.
Let me ask you a question. How are Arabs able to control their women in America, yeah? Explain that to me, yeah.
Nah, this is the thing. I don't think they come from a culture that that has certain stipulations about what women can do.
What
they have a pecking order.
Right.
They have a pecking order. It's called a pecking order. They know
Yeah.
they have a certain way, the same way the Jewish people do. When you come from a
Okay, so
country,
how are
just
they
like
able to
just
do it?
hold on for a second, and just like when I was in Nigeria, it's just certain ways that women talk. They don't the shit that how we allow black women to talk in America, man, it would be a 1,000 slaps at the same. It'll be the slap around the world in Nigeria. It doesn't in Nigeria, it doesn't matter if the man is rich or he has money or he's poor, don't have no business. It's just a certain type of respect level. We don't have that respect level because in most of the time it's the black men that made it that way because we like promiscuous women. We chase the women with the fat asses and the leggings. We chase the girls with the BBL. We chase them like that. We sit up and talk about we like the naughty chicks with the attitudes and all that. You get what I'm saying? Like we
So
promote
if we made
that.
it
That's
that
what
way,
we
why we
chase.
can't change it?
You say what now?
If we made it that way, why we can't make it the other way?
Because the ball is already written. You get what I'm saying? Like, listen, the black women has a taste of. And but you got to understand that a Democrat, a party, we're talking about a party with that could be the most at any 4 years given time, right? That can be the most powerful people in the world. It can either be Democrat or Republicans. But when the Democrats was in party, 8 years of Obama, 4 years of Biden, they put black women on that pedestal. They gave black women a taste of power that black men they never gave the black men. Why would they ever want to turn that down? When they talk about power, when the people that have the power in the United States, when they talk about the black community, they talk about the black woman first. They don't even mention black men.
No, Hustle Smart, first and foremost, I don't agree with a lot of what you just said. And then the other thing is that's making an assumption that Arab men control their women. We don't know what level of control.
Josh, what you don't agree with what I said about the Democrat Party and black women? Go ahead, tell me what you disagree about that.
For one, you said that they give black women the power, right? When in reality,
I said no. I said they put them on a pedestal as the leaders of the backbone of the black community. I said the people in power. They put the black women. They don't talk about black dynasty. Anything that I say about how the Democrat Party, when they talk about the black community, how they always talk about the black woman first. Is anything about that what I said is false?
No, it's definitely not false.
No, I don't agree with that because I'm saying that a lot of times you talk about politics, they'll talk about going to black churches, right? Who are the leaders of these churches generally, right? It's black men, right? If you look at Democratic politicians, right?
No, the women won. The women.
Who are the pastors of these churches? Generally,
the pastors are the face, but the women run the church.
The women run the church,
not the churches I've been to.
Where do you live at, John?
Not the churches I've been to.
What city do you live in,
bro? Georgia. I've been to churches.
Are you joking?
You know what I mean?
Are you joking? Me and Dinah both stay in Atlanta. Hold on, John.
No.
Me and Dinah both stay in Atlanta.
If I can interject real quick, the black churches now, especially here in Atlanta, they cater to women in the LGBTQ community.
Look, what I'm saying. If you say to me the congregation is heavily women, yes, it is. There are men in there too, but you might have a bigger majority of women in the church. But when you look at the question, but when you look at the leader, the deacon, the pastor, the people that are running the church, a lot of times it's men. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the preacher is the preacher, but the black women run the church.
All right. Well, you can hold on to that point if you want. But then anyway, when you look at elected politicians, a lot of black men are elected politicians. I don't know the numbers right now. I could look it up to see if there are more elected black men or more elected black.
It's more women.
Well, I can look at even the Senate then. You look at the Senate. I think there's two black men that I can think of right now. Cory Booker, Rick Scott, not Rick Scott. What's that guy? Whatever the guy Scott, and then Kamala ain't there now. I don't remember who else is black in the Senate. But it's two men that I can think of right now in the Senate, at least, and then that are black. And then if you look at the House, I'd have to look at the numbers to really break it down by gender.
It's way more black. There's probably 60 black women in the House.
We could look at.
Hey, but hey
John,
guys, we got to close out. Hey, everyone, thanks so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. We'll be back on tomorrow. We'll be on pretty much every day moving forward, except for when I go to Sierra Leone. Then we've got to figure it out. Thank you all. Until next time, Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Peace.
Danful offers unparalleled, curated, and bespoke tours across Africa for travelers seeking genuine cultural experiences, enriched with magnificent sights, sounds, and flavors found on the continent. Each trip is reliably curated to ensure visitors are gifted with an immersive and authentic adventure. Whether you find yourself strolling along the charming white sand beaches of Sierra Leone, feasting on the mouth-watering delicious foods in Senegal, observing or partaking in various aspects of the Isheshe traditional system Ifa native to Yoruba land, Nigeria, with Danful, you will rediscover a fulfilling sense of kinship to the true heart of the motherland, her communities. Our core values focus on integrity, quality, safety, and sustainability. We are uniquely committed to assisting with the advancement of African infrastructure and promoting African businesses, so both travelers and the communities they visit receive beneficial exchanges. At Danful, we understand the importance of connectivity, and we have created a model which provides bespoke experiences based on your passions or hobbies. With us, expect a long-lasting spiritual bond between you and your destinations. Live, love, Danful, Africa. To learn more, visit danful.africa.